all that time and my mic was off. Cool. There was one person here and they didn't tell me. Dick. Anyway, all right, so the plan is for today, I'm just going to have to edit all that out. So if you're showing up to if you watch this VOD, long story short, is clearly you can tell by the thumbnail for this stream that it says research, because the plan today is to be doing research. It's not one of my live commentaries. This is just a research stream, and I'll probably be making a video about BetterHelp in the next few days, hopefully. Depends on how well this stream goes. It's going to be a long stream, and it's going to be basically watching a whole bunch of videos and fact-checking things from the last 3 years regarding BetterHelp and the public reception of BetterHelp. Looking back recently, I'd say over the last year, looking back on BetterHelp without doing any actual research, I can't remember any actual evidence of anything significantly wrong with BetterHelp. Recently, other people have been talking about BetterHelp, like Nick, and then even more recently because of the Travis Scott situation, where Travis Scott has partnered with people dying at one of his concerts. He's partnered with BetterHelp to get therapy and grief counseling for family members and things like that related to that tragedy. Probably for anyone that was at the thing and maybe traumatized as well. I don't know all the specifics of that, but it doesn't really matter anyway. But people are now talking about how it's how dare Travis Scott be working with this company. Well, for one thing, it's an actual legitimate place. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at Mimology's first video, watch his videos, and then we're gonna go and I've got a whole. Just put it up here. I've got a whole bar full of stuff here, and this is nowhere near all of it. This is just the stuff that I found on a general search of YouTube. There are probably a ton of videos from creators that we all know, and I just had not seen them in my feed. I'm going to, after this stream, probably go, or depending on how long this takes, probably go video by video, like creator by creator that I know covers this kind of content, and see if there's anything that I can find in any of their individual channels. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get this started. This is Mimology's first video on it. We're gonna bump it up to 1.5 because I don't know how fast any of these videos are for anybody. After YouTubers started throwing my depression, what? Wait a minute. So after YouTubers started throwing mud depression, that's too close. Mud depression as if it was candy, I decided to do some research. It is for worse reasons than I imagined.
Not make any more videos. I just hit a wall where it was gotten so bad that it was basically either stop making videos or disappear forever.
So today's video is going to be about YouTube happiness. But before we get started, make sure you click that notification bell. It lets you know whenever I upload new videos. Also, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. More information about that at the end of this video.
But Mimology, what's his BetterHelp? You can't make this up. Strap in for one of the biggest cons pulled by YouTubers in 2018. Mimology's not known for level-headed takes. He's known for being able to grab stuff when it's happening and all that. But I'm just gonna be honest. Mimology's had a lot of takes that were kind of like out there. This one, I think, is one of them. YouTubers didn't con anybody.
People want videos, right? When like the audience turns on you, it is such an awful feeling. I want you to know how badly I felt. I can't express how awful it feels.
The first time I ever saw this clip, it hit me in the stomach. I related to what Ethan was saying so intense. Is Elle Mills. She creates some of the best storytelling content on YouTube, and because of that, her channel has blown the fuck up. But because her channel blew up so big and she was doing so much, the anxiety and the depression really got to her.
This is all I ever wanted. And why the fuck am I so fucking unhappy? Because, like, this is literally my fucking dream. And I'm fucking so unfucking happy. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so stupid. It is so stupid.
Fuck. Mentioned earlier, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. They are an incredible online therapy service that is not a suicide hotline replacement, but it is really, really helpful. It reached out to me several months ago to see if I was interested in doing an ad, and during that time, I've been utilizing the service to make sure it was actually something I wanted to promote to you guys. You can use the link right here on the screen or down in the description to get access to online therapy. If you feel uncomfortable.
So part of the logic and narrative that I know from people, they're trying to get a job at the same company that fired your mom. Well, good luck. I hope it's nothing like serious that she got fired for. So this is kind of funny because one of the I've only watched like a couple clips before I decided, I'm just going to do this live. One of the few narratives I crossed in like the 2 videos I've watched at this point, up like right now, are that YouTubers didn't know what they were promoting, and they weren't vetting it for their audience to make sure things are good, right? So far, Bobby Burns has already just there in Memology's video claimed that he did use the service, look into the service, and try and understand the service to see if it was good or bad for his audience, or what. And what was the other one he just said?
Not a suicide hotline replacement, but it is.
It's not a suicide hotline replacement. It's not therapy replacement. One of the narratives was that it was being billed as a replacement for in-person therapy, and like it's better than but it's not. That was not the narrative that was being run. It was another one of those things where people were obscuring what was actually being said and adding their own twist to what was being said. Just because they say it's good for this doesn't mean it's not good for this. They were like. It's unrealistic, the reactions people were having.
Really, really helpful. It reached out to me several months ago to see if I was interested in doing an ad, and during that time, I've been utilizing the service to make sure it was actually something I wanted to promote to you guys. You can use the link right here on the screen or down in the description to get access to online therapy. If you feel uncomfortable going into an actual office and waiting in line, this is a fantastic tool to help.
So Bobby Burns releases a depression video with L. Mills. Just ignoring the fact that depression is a real thing in Memology. All right. An entitled YouTuber we've seen before also with depression. This is not a coincidence when she drops a new video. Okay, so far, Memology just seems like he's kind of like doesn't believe in depression. I could be wrong, but that's kind of the vibe I get from this. Like, YouTubers can't talk about depression without it being some kind of weak joke. Well, why can't you talk about it on a video, but you can talk to the therapist about it, right? So either it's an unrealistic thing he's running with, or either it's like an unrealistic logical flaw he has against like how to talk about depression that you can only talk to a therapist about it or something, or he just thinks that the only way you can talk about it in a video is to get clicks for depression. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say with that. But so far, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with Bobby's take from what he was saying. All right, for the stream's sake, just for the stream's sake, because this is gonna take forever if I don't. We're gonna go ahead and use ad block just for the sake of the stream. I've watched a lot of these videos already, so this isn't like
comfortable going into an actual office and waiting in line. This is a fantastic tool to help.
All right, we already watched this. Then she drops a new video.
I mean, on the internet right now, so many outlets have been covering these stories. It's not just the polygons and the slash dots of the world.
Bobby was / is attention star / drama obsessed, so presumptions of Bobby are pretty common. Yeah, but I don't think at the time, I don't know. Like, the problem is you have to presume that. You have to presume his intent. And if everything you do is presumed malicious or manipulative or whatever, then no one's giving you any credibility. So I don't know, but to lump other people in that have credibility with Bobby Burns, even by that logic, seems like, I don't know, trying to poison the well by starting off with Bobby at that point, if that's really how people feel about Bobby. I mean, I don't watch Bobby anymore. I watched him for a while, and then he kind of went into like the vloggy thing, and he just was kind of like all over the place, which, I don't know, it made me think he had some issues he hadn't resolved that he was dealing with. And it turns out it was true. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like weird to like start with Bobby when Bobby if Bobby really had that kind of view, public view at the time.
You have the Guardian covering it, Forbes. This week I saw NPR covering it. For me personally, the person I ended up connecting with the most was L. Mills.
That video shows a young girl in a very raw state.
It won't fucking end. It's a cycle, and it won't end.
I've never seen anything.
Especially because L. Mills is nothing like that, right? So he starts off with that, with Bobby, but doesn't really make hardly any points about Bobby. And then jumps into L. Mills. We'll see if he actually has anything to say about L. Mills. I don't know. We'll see.
Living a fucking dream.
She was probably pulling 70, 80, 90-hour work weeks with travel in between. Of course she got them out.
And I'm so unfucking happy.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes. Where do I even start?
Well, I've been spending a lot of time with friends and family. I got to send my brother off at prom, watch him surprisingly graduate high school, and I also got to have a nice little birthday party at home. I was able to squeeze in a few therapy sessions before I started traveling and working again. But it wasn't long until my workaholic gas got itself back into the YouTube world. And honestly, working again wasn't too bad because my manager and I made sure to set boundaries to ensure that I didn't get too drained or overwhelmed. But also, it definitely helped to have great people keeping me company along the way. I've been taking my time in between videos, and it's been great. I've been making sure to take time off the internet every day, which has led me to exercising a whole lot more. I've also been working on reaching out and talking to people when I start to feel bad so that it doesn't build up to what it was a few months ago. And as the months go on, I get better and better at doing so.
I'm going to slow this down a little bit because I can understand what she's saying, but I'm not sure if everybody else can on
So I
stream.
guess you could say things are going pretty well.
Do I worry you sometimes, Mom? God, often. Or well, let's say all the time. Why? Yeah. All the time. Why? Because you're hard to read. You're hard. You don't open up with me all the time.
Is that Elle's
I don't
mom?
like talking feelings with my kids. Anyway, we ought to do this. No. Okay.
The whole video is a lie. Another mode depression video. Why? The answer will come later. What? The video is about how they took time. They actually took time off of their career. What was the lie? Wait, what was the lie?
Where do I even start?
She was probably pulling 70, 80, 90-hour work weeks with travel in between. Of course she got burned out.
She got burned out, took time off. And then she came... And then she came back and talked about how much better she is having gotten therapy and all that.
Well, I've been spending a lot of time with friends and family. I got to send my brother off at prom, watch him surprisingly graduate high school, and I also got to have a nice little birthday party at home. I was able to squeeze in a few therapy sessions before I started traveling and working again. But it wasn't long until my workaholic gas got itself back into the YouTube world. And honestly, working again wasn't too bad because my manager and I made sure to set boundaries to ensure that I didn't get too drained or overwhelmed. But also, it definitely helped to have great people keeping me company along the way. I've been taking my time in between videos, and it's been great. I've been making sure to take time off the internet every day, which has led me to exercising a whole lot more.
Yeah, this is...
I've also been working on reaching out and talking to people when I start to feel bad so that it doesn't build up to what it was a few months ago. And as the months go on, I get better and better at doing so. So I guess you could say things are going pretty well.
I'm guessing that's from her video. You know what? Let's just look up. Let's just look it up. This isn't supposed to be like a video about... This isn't supposed to be a stream about memology, but I'm trying to understand what the value of his video is. L Mills... Burnout. Is this the video that he's talking about?
Is that I'm one driven son of a bitch.
Subsequently removed that shoulder of
Up and makes amazing brownies. You're my favorite baby.
No! Stop! You're lying to me!
Little music videos with my friends and family.
Just a little!
Hi, I'm El Mill.
I'm not sure. I'm genuinely confused. Where is the text thing from? Does he link it, maybe? No, those are other channels from him. Credits. Memology intro, Dread Steel, the... Okay, so it doesn't look like he actually links to that, but he links to memes in the description? I'm trying to figure out what this clip here is from. Like, where did this come from? Is this him? Did he make this? Is it like to make fun of her?
Do I worry you sometimes, Mom?
All right, let's see. How often does she upload? Wait, she hasn't uploaded in hardly at all in 3 years. Three years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years. So she's only uploading maybe once a month now. All right, so 3 years ago, burnout at 19. I turned my house up. Maybe something got removed? I'm trying to understand what the context of that clip is, but without the rest, like...
God, often. Or, well, let's say all the time. Why? Yeah. All the time. Why? Because you're hard to read. You're hard... You don't...
And by the way, the reason that's important, I think, is because... Okay, so it goes from this whole thing... He's showing this whole thing where she's all talking about how she's like getting over her depression, she's dealing with her depression and things like that. She's dealing with her burnout, right?
Months ago. And as the months go on, I get better and better at doing so. So I guess you could say things are going pretty well.
And then this here specifically insinuates that she was lying and she's not getting better, or that she was never depressed. But I can't figure out what it's supposed to mean or what the value is of it until I find the actual clip.
Because it'll help more than you think.
Yeah, I have no idea. Does she have other channels? Maybe that's why. Okay, so she uploads on this channel more often, but oh nope, still hardly anything though. Okay, so I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from that memology video. I have no idea what I'm supposed to take away from that now. Because I have no idea. I got to assume this is a joke, but I don't know. But this joke is like, if this joke is not from her video, then it doesn't have anything to do with what she just showed. It's just putting words in her mouth.
Do I worry you sometimes, Mom? God, often. Or, well, let's say all the time.
Do I worry you sometimes, Mom? Often, all the time.
All the time. Why? Because you're hard to read. You're hard. You don't open up with me all the time. I don't like talking feelings with my kids. Anyway, we don't do this. No. Okay.
The whole video was a lie. Another mud depression video, but I can't find the first one. So what does he mean? Another mud depression video? And I still don't understand why you're not allowed to talk about depression on YouTube. The answer would come later, and this revealed the whole con.
Not everything is as perfect as I made it seem. I mean, I do give a lot of people reason to worry online. Most of my head so much, and my mom and I never speak.
Wait. So there's a bunch of different stories that she was making. She was making a bunch of different stories where she would like break down. And he's saying that no, this is fake. This is a con. She spent 6 months faking mental illness to do a sponsor. Is that what we're getting to here?
I know my hometown friends are a bit frustrated as well.
You post things that are concerning. I don't know. You just have this like energy of you, this positive energy that you're always giving off to others. And like, I never thought that you were going through something like that. You never really speak about it to anyone. Like you keep it to yourself, kind of. So.
Does that make you upset that I keep it to myself and then just broadcast it online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
What I struggle with is dealing with that vulnerability that I put out online, in person, face to face. It just exceeds the very limited amount of vulnerability I'm comfortable with, which is why I often just make videos about how I feel, and I tend to open up about my darkest shit.
Plus, you're still in the industry of what causes 95% of your stress.
I'm not making ad revenue.
Well, Mills, and this video heavily touches upon mental health.
Wait.
Shit.
Plus, you're still in the industry of what causes 95% of your stress.
I'm not making ad revenue.
Why do you use this? That has nothing to do with anything.
exceeds the very limited amount of vulnerability I'm comfortable with, which is why I often just make videos about how I feel, and I tend to open up about my darkest shit.
Plus, you're still in the industry of what causes 95% of your stress.
I'm not making ad revenue.
Mills, and this video heavily touches upon mental health. If you're currently struggling with your mental health, I highly encourage you to reach out to someone, such as a family member, a friend, or professional. In light of this video, I'm working with BetterHelp to help provide another resource for you guys. BetterHelp is an app and a website that allows you to text, chat, or phone.
So according to Memology, the whole thing was a scam. She faked a bunch of mental issues for months and months, took time off of her channel to do a sponsorship where she could have put out 2 to 3 videos in that month, even at a relaxed pace, and made more from the ad revenue at this point in time with the way YouTube was. She could have made more than she would have made from the sponsor by putting out those 3 videos. So his logic is she took time off from YouTube, pretended to be dealing with mental issues, and then did a sponsor, and that's why it was a scam.
Or video call with licensed therapists and start communicating in under 24 hours. And I would like.
You're making money off your psychological crisis. WTF is BetterHelp. Help under 24 hours. I'm disgusted by this stuff. Just start to think there's someone nice here or someone sincere here, and it turns out to be another way to make money. Or let's think about it this way. It's entirely possible that since it's a business that makes money, they want to sponsor people, which helps incentivize them to get the word out, helps incentivize other people to support that creator. And then if that creator also has actually used the service, it's entirely possible, more than likely, that people are actually benefiting from the service and want to help and share. If they can make money while they're doing it, that's just icing on the cake. A lot of people that have actually dealt with mental issues, they want people to get better. I know a lot of people who've dealt with mental issues, and they've gone and gotten help. And let me put it this way, okay? Every single person I know of that has gone to therapy has told me I should go to therapy no matter how well managed any issues I have are. They've told me that I should definitely go to therapy and get help just to make sure that anything I have is not secretly eating away at me and I don't know it or something like that. Something is damaging me or whatever. You should go and get help just because just to be on the safe side. It's better to go than not go. But let's assume that everyone's malicious and no one has any good intentions. No, people that go and get help typically think that going and getting help is the right way to go.
If this is something that interests you, go to betterhelp.com/L or click the first link in the description. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I mentioned therapy a few times in this video, and it's no coincidence because today's sponsor is the folks over at BetterHelp. And if you've noticed that I've been doing a lot better over the last couple of months, it's because I got back into therapy, and I started right there with BetterHelp. And I recommend if you need therapy, it's a good place to get started. But a few months back, I signed up for BetterHelp. It was very easy to do. I just did it via my phone, and I started talking with the therapist there. And after a couple of months of talking to that therapist almost every day, I realized that I needed much more intensive therapy than they were able to provide. They recommended I get medication. They recommended I talk to my doctor, and they recommended I got into seeing a regular therapist. And now I'm using both a regular therapist who I see once a week and the folks over at BetterHelp. And in tandem, I'm doing better than I've ever done, certainly that I've done since the divorce. So if you're struggling right now with any of the stuff I've been struggling with, the depression, the anxiety, the eating disorders, anything like that, or you just need somebody to talk to, go to betterhelp.com/BOOGIE. And if you sign up using that code, I'm going to make a little bit of money, but more importantly, you'll get the help you need. I don't even care if you use that link. Just go to BetterHelp and sign up and get the help you need today. Trust me, you're going to be very happy you did it. And if it's a matter of money, and trust me, I know what it's like to be broke. If it's a matter of money, know that there is financial assistance for those people who need it through BetterHelp. I mean, you can get therapy for a very inexpensive price. It's one of the best and most inexpensive ways to get it. I highly recommend it, and I hope you check it out if you need the help.
Interesting. So you can even get assistance. Here's the funny thing about this. He's like showing, see, look, they took sponsorships multiple times and all that. The problem is a lot of times when sponsors find that they're hitting an audience that that finds them beneficial or that helps them, they go back to that person because their audience clearly is benefiting from the service. They're continuing to use the service. If they find that a creator's audience is like, yeah, sure, I like this, cool, and they continue to use the service, they're going to go back there because it's continuing to be profitable for them and everyone else involved. It's so dumb the way that these lines get connected. Why is he even showing these? Okay, this one actually does say BetterHelp. Did the other one say BetterHelp? Okay, that one said BetterHelp. I didn't see it in the first one, though. Okay, yeah. All right. I mean, it still seems kind of dumb to me, because, like, it's just such a weird criticism. Like, congratulations. You're right. An app that needs to get advertising to help people is advertising. Mind blown. So the wave of my depression has something in common. Promoting their sponsor, BetterHelp, meaning the videos were planned beforehand. Nice to see we all knew these videos were fake. Effing clickbaiters. No, that's not what that means. What? No, that's not what that means. If they use the service and they're like, okay, so this is a sponsor now. This is something I've been dealing with. I'm going to see if the service is good. Oh, this is actually helping people. This is a legitimate company with a better business rating that's good. Why not? This is something that I could take a sponsorship for that could actually also help people. Why would you assume that the only reason they did it was because, despite all the other sponsors that were out there, they only did it for the money? They didn't have to go for the mental health aspect. They could have gone for any reason. It's entirely just speculation. I didn't think a part 2 was going to happen. And then he makes like 15 more. But thanks to more research after the first video, thanks to you, yes, you, the viewers, more information has come to light. I wonder how much is just going to be more screenshots of the same thing from different channels. So one of the greatest common factors was the time frame. Which all these videos about depression were uploaded. July to September. July to September is 3 to 4 month window, depending on what point you want to look at, like how you would round that up. July to August, August to September. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. It would only be 3 if you round up. Congratulations, 3 months. I'm so confused what the point is. This is just more screenshots because while BetterHelp has been active, allegedly been an active company. Why did anyone take this seriously? Since 2013, it all begun to boom around late 2017, and sponsorships exploded since 2018. Yeah, but sponsorships weren't a huge thing until like 2016. And even then, companies were really large were starting to like slowly jump into it. This isn't it. This is like connecting dots that don't exist. Today, I sit down.
Find stuff for myself, so YouTube put us in touch.
Well, YouTube put you together. That this stuff goes deeper. Oh, and that woman, this is not her first depression video. Well, no, she's a therapist of sorts.
Just done a video about burnout, so we thought it'd be fun.
What was that framing of her? This isn't her first depression video. She's a therapist. That's her whole content, like mental health.
So
want to tell you about an amazing new service that I use. It's called BetterHelp. BetterHelp hooks you up with all kinds of therapists across the country that you can link up with. It's only $35. You can Skype, you can FaceTime with them. If you feel like talking to someone and you want to find a therapist, BetterHelp.com is the best place to go. Guys, it's so convenient. You can do it from your computer or your phone. It's also affordable, and they have financial aid available. I had a therapy session today. I feel a million times better. Do not wait. Reach out. Go to BetterHelp.com and talk to someone. I promise you will feel better if you talk to someone, whatever you're going through. I just finished my session and I talked for about an hour to someone today, and it was incredible.
One therapy session and you already feel better? Holy shit. Sign me up right now, motherfucker.
Actually, yes, one therapy session is enough for you to feel like you've vented. You've taken some weight off your shoulders because you vented. You talked to someone. That's actually like rational. What? If you hold a lot of stuff in and you don't want to tell your friends about it or whatever, you feel like you can't tell people because you're weak or whatever, and you go to a therapist and you talk to them about your issues, yes, you're going to feel better because you got it off your chest.
These are accredited counselors from all over the country. Really, really great people who are trained to talk to you.
I've had about 6 or 7 counselors. First one canceled an appointment 15 minutes before the start. I had canceled another appointment to keep this counseling app. You know what? You notice this though. September 13th, 2018. The second one left during live video chat without telling me why. The other ones were just bad. Last one started out really good, but became unresponsive to my messages. Last message she sent me was mean. She said, "I'm not a mind reader." Okay, that means that you had bad counselors. But at the same time, you also have to take into account the fact that the website was blowing up because of the advertising. They were getting like access to a lot of clients and may not have had the therapists to handle the influx of users. So that would explain why the quality of the service would drop. If people were constantly on the app, constantly trying to talk to therapists, and the therapists were, for lack of a better term, in a way, overworked. It's not an excuse. It means that they were overworked and they weren't being self-aware about the situation and they were overdoing it. But that doesn't mean that this is a problem with the app or the service. It means it means there's a problem with the service, but it's not that the service is a scam or anything. It means that the therapists needed a break, or they were not good therapists and they need to be replaced. So you report them to the service. That's a like. The point is, a worst case scenario, some people had bad experiences, but it doesn't mean that the platform was a bad platform and that the platform was the problem. It means they had bad people working on the platform that weren't able to keep up with the work. I've never had an experience with this company turning away a payment because they I have never had the experience of a company turning away a payment made because they feel that I do not fit into their preferred customer. I had done the free trial with them in a few months before, and things were great. I couldn't afford the price of full-time counseling, so I waited a few months to save some money and pay for a month to see if it helped. After all that, they sent me the money back, saying I'm not going to benefit from online counseling. How do they know what I need? They haven't even let me share my story with a counselor. They just looked at my form and turned me away. Unbelievable. Don't waste your time. This is a company saying you need in-person therapy. This is them saying you need in-person therapy. This is them saying, look, the online counseling can help with like things, depression, this, that, and the other thing. But this is what we do here. Our therapist services are not going to be enough for this. They gave the money back. Why is this a justification for the company being a scam when they did the right thing? And if they're not going to provide a service, give the money back. That doesn't make any sense. What? After repeated requests for the After repeated requests for the promised update matching me with a therapist, I received a boilerplate rejection letter falsely stating we are truly understanding your concerns. What? Falsely stating we truly understand your concerns. Impossible since no one had spoken to me. If you have to fill out a thing letting them know what the problems are that you're dealing with so that they can hook you up with a therapist that can help you the most efficiently, then I would think so. I would think they would be able to. It's also possible that the app may have had some issues at the time. But I'm still confused. This is still about, like, money being sent back to people. How does this justify it being a scam? It shows that they had flaws at the time. They falsely claimed you can find many available therapists in your area by clicking here. Ridiculous. Again, they knew nothing about my situation and didn't care to. How is that a false claim that you can find therapists in your area? Can you not find therapists in your area? This person from Patagonia, Chile. I'm not sure what their understanding of the situation is. This is what I was talking to some people recently about this stuff. This stuff doesn't make sense to me. Like, these are leaps of logic. Like, these are minor issues, right? That they're leaping to say are something horrible. There's something off here, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's with BetterHelp.
Give you the right.
All right, let's go ahead and grab the link to this video. Screenshots of reviews.
Right advice and be a sounding board to whatever you're going through. Guys, click on the link in my description and check out BetterHelp. Today's video is an extension of what BetterHelp is doing. I hooked up with Katie, who is a licensed therapist and also a YouTuber, and I thought it would be really fun if you guys got to see what a therapy session is like. So
Maybe that's better for this video. I don't know. I'm here with Katie Morton, Dr. Katie Morton.
No, licensed therapist.
Not a doctor. Licensed therapist, not a doctor, you idiots. You're so stupid, you fell for it.
She again. But wait.
You're so stupid, you fell for it.
But wait, there's more. These YouTubers coincidentally decided to tackle depression on a BetterHelp sponsored video. Did Memology not understand that typically when you make a video about, like, a topic with a sponsor, they typically want the sponsorship to make sense with the video that you're making? Like, either you do an ad read. Typically, you either do an ad read that kind of gives context to what the purpose is and what the benefit is of a service like BetterHelp or, you know, HelloFresh, things like that. They typically want you to either make a video related to that topic or they want you to include more information. Like doing a very, like a deep ad read. That's why usually either the video like when you see an ad read, a sponsorship, usually there's a detailed ad read or there's other stuff that's connected to it that's being reviewed, like throughout the whole video. And that's what they're doing. They're doing a video about his struggles with a sponsor that relates to that topic. That's normal. That's rational.
I know I should have kept you waiting. It's been ages since I've done anything other than a vlog.
It's crazy how much, like, commentary and commentary adjacent content was devoid of logic just a couple years ago in so many ways.
And this video has been a long time coming because today we're going to be talking about mental health. Now, I've been waiting ages, like literally itching to make this video.
Itching?
Literally,
She's got a rash.
literally itching. I have a rash. I was waiting for the book to be out because we wrote a huge chapter on mental health. And I've talked about things in the book that I haven't told anyone. I haven't even told my own family.
Same.
So I was waiting for you guys to read that. But I got my rash. If you haven't heard about this, if this is brand new information, head over to the main channel and check out the story. And even though in the main channel I'm joking about it because I had to laugh, I would never have got a rash if it wasn't for stress and anxiety. That's what made my eczema flare up. Then it got infected and then I got very, very ill.
Through doing YouTube, Rosie and I have met absolutely thousands of you guys, and it became apparent that a lot of you have commonalities with each other and with us regarding mental health issues, coming out issues, and just issues in general. And I think it's really important for Rosie and I to take the opportunity on this platform to...
Circle of promotion. A circle of promotion. Going back to L Mills.
I mean, on the internet right now, so many outlets have been covering these stories. It's not just the polygons and the slash dots of the world.
Guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. People with depression that are using a service called BetterHelp and are being sponsored by a service called BetterHelp are also making depression content.
You have The Guardian covering it, Forbes. This week I saw NPR covering it. For me personally, the person I ended up connecting with the most was Elle Mills.
That video shows a young girl in a very raw state.
It won't fucking end. It's a cycle, and it won't end.
I've never seen anything like it on YouTube.
This is living my fucking dream.
She was probably pulling 70, 80, 90-hour work weeks with travel in between. Of course she got burned out.
And I'm so unfucking happy.
Sponsored by BetterHelp. Elle Mills was featured on videos by Philip Defranco and Boogie, who were also sponsored by BetterHelp, who also sponsored Bobby Burns, who did a video with Elle. Does he not understand when people like go viral and stuff? People want to talk to them and learn what they're talking about. Like that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like a kid yodeled in a Walmart and was interviewed all over the place, had videos go viral all over, like clips of him go viral all over the place. The audio was used in a bunch of videos and stuff. Like, what? The video blew up because of what she was going through, and people wanted to talk to her about it. This is not monetizing depression. It's worse. It's weaponizing depression. Now every young, impressionable kid or teenager is going to relate and think they're also suffering it as every icon on YouTube is projecting it. That's not what projection is. That's not what projection is. Ah, man. He's just the tip of the iceberg. Subtle manipulation. The irony. The irony. So Elle Mills was promoting and talking. Okay, this whole thing so far has been spinning based on his own personal feelings towards depression content. I think my contact just slipped out. No, okay. So Elle Mills was talking to her friends online instead of her family. It was promoting talking to her friends online instead of to her family and people beside her. But why? What?
Maybe not everything is as perfect as I made it seem. I mean, I do give a lot of people reason to worry online. I can't even look at myself in my head so much. I need help. And my mom and I never speak a single word of it. I know my hometown friends are a bit frustrated as well.
You post things that are concerning. I don't know, you just have this like energy of you, this positive energy that you're always giving up to others, and like I never thought that you were going through something like that. You never really speak about it to anyone. Like you keep it to yourself kind of, so.
Does it make you upset that I keep it to myself and then just podcast it online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
What I struggle with is dealing with that vulnerability that I put out online in person, face to face. It just exceeds the very limited amount of vulnerability I'm comfortable with, which is why I often just make videos about how I feel, and I tend to open up about my darkest shit with friends that I'll share a single thing in common. They're nowhere near me.
Pushing the idea is better taught. That's not what. Oh my word. This is so much of this is just assumption and his own concept of what she's saying. This is straight up conspiracy theory.
Another resource for you guys.
She spent months pretending to be depressed. I really don't want to watch the rest of these, but I kind of have to see if there's anything else that I need to cover in this video if I do a video about this. Isn't it funny how she never says that anywhere, that, you know, you should go to online therapy instead of in-person therapy? Isn't that crazy? She talked about how she has anxiety about talking to people in person about that kind of stuff because it's like there's anxiety and all that stuff about it, and there's a lot of stigma about it. So yeah, it's almost crazy. It's kind of crazy how she didn't say that it's better to do that at all.
So this is a video about me starting gender therapy. Yep.
I'm trying to vlog in the moment when it's fresh, so here we go. It was so good! I really liked it!
So I've been going to therapy for 4 weeks now, and I really dig it. The only drawback is expensive. First I have to hit my deductible, then a little insurance kicks in, but even then it's not cheap. So if you are similar to me in the way that you are not made of money, but you still want to talk to a professional about some of your feels, then I want to tell you about BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a program that has assisted over 600,000 people. Pretty cool. And what it does is provide easy, discreet online counseling from licensed therapists. First, you sign up and complete a questionnaire about yourself. What I thought was really rad about the questionnaire.
Isn't that crazy? Like I said, like, how would they know anything about me? I haven't talked to anybody. Well, your questionnaire you fill out.
Is it asked for your gender, and it included non-binary as an opzione. So cool. Then you are matched with a therapist within 24 hours, which is dope, because like you heard me in the beginning of this video, I was really afraid I'd have to wait 8 months to find the right therapist. Ooh, so no scary wait period. And once you've matched with your counselor, you guys can communicate right on your device in whatever way feels comfortable. Live type chat, email, phone calls, video chat, etc. And you can do all this, you can start for as low as $35 a week, which is pretty manageable compared to IRL therapy.
By the way, I don't know if he comes back to that at some point. I'm sure at some point, given the way he's been going, he's at some point gonna mention that it's cheaper compared to IRL therapy. Well, a lot of people don't seem to understand, and I didn't even understand this at the time. I only recently found out because somebody I know is using BetterHelp for some therapy. And essentially, they have nearly 24-hour access to their therapist. They send them a message. They'll get back to them whenever. That's not the kind of thing you have with a regular IRL therapist. A regular IRL therapist is like, you come in for your meeting once a week. If you have like a crisis or something, you have to pay for an extra session. But they're paying like $35 a week. They casually text back and forth with their therapist, or they can have video chats or whatever. They pay for the service for the month. If you need a lot of therapy, like I need to talk a lot because you're going through a lot, and they can handle that, and they don't think you need to go to a regular therapist to handle that, you can do that. But if a regular appointment with a therapist is $50, $60, $70, $80, $100, for you to have one appointment a week to talk for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, right? You're talking a far more significant amount of money than you're paying to BetterHelp. So even mathematically, they're not wrong. It's not a lie. It's not manipulation. That's the fact. Now, the Jake Paul doc is where the story really blew up.
This is gonna be a nightmare.
Serious about the pause. Sorry about it. The shifty.
So I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I want you guys to be on this journey with me. I hope that you aren't mad at me for doing this.
Oh, she's there. Ah!
All right, welcome to part 2 of The Mind of Jake Paul. Now, today's episode, I sit down with therapist Katie Morton to talk about the psychology of Jake Paul.
I'm not going to do my regular intro because I'll disturb your neighbors.
Okay.
Well, welcome, everyone. On my channel now, we just recorded a video for...
You know what's crazy? If he looked into lawsuit related stuff on YouTube, where like creators were talking to lawyers about, I can guarantee he'd find commonalities between the lawyers they talked to. And there's services that you can use that are like BetterHelp that help you get it connected with lawyers. It's like Uber, but for lawyers, and this is like Uber for therapists.
for Katie's channel. By the way, this is Katie Morton. I just realized I haven't introduced you.
Yes, hello.
So tell the people a little
Grr.
bit about yourself, because I only know so much as well.
Yeah, okay, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Better for this video, I don't know. I'm here with Katie Morton, Dr. Katie Morton.
No, licensed therapist.
Not a doctor. Licensed therapist, not a doctor, you idiots.
About my issues and the fact that I probably need more therapy. So that's why I'm excited to once again say that today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. This is something I really think is great, something I actually really believe in. So BetterHelp is a service and an app where you can get affordable and private online counseling whenever you want. Like I've said before, going to a therapist's office or sitting down with a counselor can be kind of intimidating and a little scary, which is why I love this, because you can just be on your phone, you don't have to go in anywhere, and you can just set up your appointment, you can message them when you want to talk. It's just really easy and it's great. So you'll fill out a questionnaire and then they'll match you to a counselor. And then you can get started getting counseling on your computer or your smartphone.
It's funny how this is the one. It's funny how like there's been 19 playbacks of this stream, and everyone leaves within seconds. Is it because everyone genuinely believes that the BetterHelp is like such a horrible thing, and because I'm being critical of the criticisms of it, or is it just because they're not interested? I gotta wonder. The series itself was not about Jake Paul. It never was. What are you talking about? We are up to a point in history where the clickbaiter is clickbaited. The whole video, the video series, it all came to this moment. The therapist, the promotion, the characters, L, Boogie, Philip, Shane, none of them have to do with it. What? This almost seems like satire of like conspiracy. This is such a reach. Many other YouTubers played the depression card during the same time frame as they saw the trend.
But in general, the topic I want to discuss
so dumb and dishonest.
This month, whenever you want to say, is depression. Because depression is not logical. Depression is not like cause and effect. Oh, I cut my leg and my leg hurts. It's not like that. It's like it could just happen. And one day you feel like shit for no fucking reason. There's been days, this is real, okay? When I was doing YouTube.
Is this why he doesn't believe in depression? Because DSP believes in depression?
For a living, and I told you guys that I couldn't work today. I don't feel good. That's because I was depressed. That's not because I was actually physically feeling
Screw it, I need sugar to deal with this crap.
Because I woke up and I felt awful. My mind was fucked, and I just couldn't even get my head together to get a thought without thinking negative, terrible, sad thoughts, right? And what depression does, it also makes you focus on negative times in your life, even if you're not in them anymore. And one way, and this is a big one, and this is one that in particular, this is the first time I'm ever publicly discussing anything like this with anyone, any of you guys that have ever been a viewer of mine, all right? And this is the God's honest truth. I'm not making this up. This is not an excuse or a justification, okay? I take full responsibility for my actions. But one of the biggest problems with depression is self-destruction. And here's what I mean by that. If you have true depression and you have these feelings of hatred of yourself right now, I'm a much more moral person. You know what I mean? I've changed for the better. But inside this feeling of you're a piece of garbage, you don't deserve anything, hating myself makes me do things that are stupid as fuck, that are incredibly self-destructive.
I'm curious to see if he has any actual clips of that.
All right? And this is the God's honest truth.
It's weird to use DSP. It's weird to use DSP trying to do that, like, it's kind of cringe, right? And then a whole DSP, the lolcow. Here's these, depression was used by everyone to do this, and then he shows a DSP.
Oh, here we go.
A shocking DSP would do that.
Goodbye. You're a lawyer. Goodbye. Actually, Popsicola took care of it before I even got to take care of it. Okay? You may notice that every once in a while, I'll do something incredibly stupid and out of character. And you say, why the hell did Phil do that? Things were going good, and, why would Phil do something really stupid like that? And by the way, as I'm talking about this, I'm actually crushing the fuck out of this stress box. It's the first time I've ever actually publicly talked about this. I'll do something dumb and out of character for no reason. And, to the logical person looking in from the outside who's a fan, why did Phil fucking do that, right? Why did Phil insult this person? Why did Phil do this? Why did Phil do that? And there's a lot to do, stress and emotion. But there's this self-destructive tendency for people who actually have depression. And I'll give you a perfect example, and you can choose to believe me or not. This is not an excuse, and I own what I did. And, I'm the only person who basically isn't doing it, so watch my stream on Friday, okay? And I know that. I know that putting that out on Twitter is going to cause trouble. I know that logically in this head. I know that's stupid, you know, but I did it anyway. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake that I put that on fucking Twitter. No, sir, it wasn't. That was my depression.
So his logic is because DSP kind of covered for himself a little bit, or at least tried to, for his bad actions by saying he was depressed. Which apparently he doesn't believe could be real even if it was. Then everyone else must be doing the same thing. Because he said that this is what people were doing. And these types of videos focus on using depression as a tool to counter criticism. And his only example of doing that is DSP. There's a spun narrative. So we went to the So we went to the profile of BetterHelp's founder, and we found a common factor among his businesses. Health outcome addresses pain point by creating a platform to base heard. One-to-one style advice. A marketplace for online personal style advice. Wait a minute, what's the difference between this one and this one? This one doesn't say a name. For all I know, it's the same place. They even have the same description. What's up, dude? All the companies he works with work with third parties, independent employees, basically, which leads to our next point. No. Well, kind of, I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, he's right. They work with third parties. They're more like contractors, though. Leads to our next point. But the focus for the user, the end user is who really matters there, right? So the logic is that the user... Wait a minute. Why is the chat not actually showing up on screen? I've reset it multiple times. Let me transform that again. Let me reset transform. I don't know why it's not working. The chat box is not working. It's freaking annoying. Anyway, the whole point is the end user uses the service so that they can get like access to something for a cheaper, lower quality, but like still equivalent at some level alternative to the higher cost and higher value version of what they need. Stylists can be expensive. And they were crowdsourcing information about medical treatment on different apps, like a review of doctors or whatever. That's what they read as. The platform enables you to communicate with a counselor, consultant, practitioner, professional, expert, coach, advisor, and or any other person, collectively counselor, for the purposes of getting counseling, information, advice, or any other input, benefit, or service. The counselors are neither our employees nor agents or representatives. Furthermore, we assume no responsibility for any act, omission, or doing of a counselor. That's a general liability thing. Like most companies have this kind of thing, especially companies that have off-site work. We make no representation or warranty whatsoever as to the willingness or ability of a counselor to give advice. Okay, but see, here's the problem. If they match you up by accident with the wrong type of therapist, right? If they match you up with a therapist who has some experience in like dealing with suicidal tendencies or whatever, right? And you're not comfortable dealing with that. They're going to say, okay, I'm not comfortable dealing with this. I'm not qualified to deal with this. I can't do this. If they like match somebody up that's dealing with like racial issues, like I like the person is going to therapy because they don't want to feel like hateful the way they feel. If they get matched up with like a black guy or an Asian guy or whatever, they might not feel comfortable talking to that guy. This kind of thing is written in for those kind of instances. We make no representation or warranty whatsoever as to whether you will find the counselor service relevant, useful, correct, relevant, satisfactory, or suitable to your needs. Again, this is essentially saying you're buying your car as is condition. We're not going to guarantee you're going to get the exact help you need and your health is going to be fixed right away, because you can't guarantee that. It's not possible to guarantee that. Some people need serious treatment and can't even get cured of their situation. We do not control the quality of the counselor services. We do not determine whether or not a counselor is qualified to provide any specific service, as well as whether a counselor is categorized correctly or matched correctly to you. This is one of the things I think that people are worried about, whether or not they're even vetting the counselors. The problem is, that's not what that says. We don't control the quality of the counselor services. In other words, they can't really monitor and they cannot. Well, they probably can monitor. Let me rephrase that. They can't punish a counselor for handling things in a way that you don't think they should have. They could talk to them, maybe, right? They could kick them off the service, but they are not constantly micromanaging therapists. Therapists have to handle things on a per client basis. It has nothing to do with their licensing either. Whether or not the counselor is correctly matched to you. That's what I already talked about that. If you read the privacy policy and agreement sections, the company has zero accountability. Instead, puts 100% of the responsibility on you and the counselor. That is because the company is basically working as a middleman, just like with Uber. They just put you in connection with the person that can provide you the service, and then they handle the money on behalf of both of you. That's it. There was never any need for them to be accountable. It has nothing to do with licensing either. All they can do, even when it comes to the licensing, right? Even when it comes to the license, all they can do to make sure, all they can do to vet your license is make sure you have one. That's it. They didn't give you the license. They didn't give you the certifications. You got that legally from some other source. If you lose that certification, what do they do? What are they supposed to do? Not just the customer satisfaction, but about the payments as well. If anything goes wrong, you have to look out for yourself and fix it. How can you trust no accountability? You mean you can't just cancel? You can say this therapist isn't working out for me. I need to go talk to a different therapist. What do you mean? If the therapist isn't a good therapist, who's going to tell you that you need to go to somebody else, or who's going to set you up with a different therapist? The whole point of the app is hey, if you need help, come use the app. That's looking out for yourself, getting the app. If that therapist isn't working out for you, then you need to go, hey, I need help, but this isn't working, so I get somebody else. This therapist website is also advertising with YouTubers that have not posted I'm a depressed video. What? This therapist is also advertising with YouTubers that have not posted an I'm a depressed video. So because they were doing sponsorships with people that were and were not making videos about being depressed, that's somehow a problem. Even though the logic prior to this video in the series was that everybody getting sponsored by them was also making videos about being depressed. It was all a conspiracy. It was all manipulation. But that's not the narrative anymore. This is the third time a previous issue of his, he's like doubled down with the logic of these people, but they contradict each other. Who watches The Watchmen? Well, me right now. They claim the counselors are licensed, but in the same terms, they don't have an ounce of accountability and repeatedly state that they don't promise anything. That's called liability. Several people have come out and shared their experience when BetterHelp. When people at BetterHelp think you're too much of a problem, their action is to reject you. If they can't help you, then why would they string you along? That's worse. +28,000 reviews from BetterHelp. That's from their own site. Who cares? Plenty of websites have reviews on their own site. Those are testimonials. What? Maybe that's an issue where somebody misread the thing. I don't know. I like how we're looking at like a few single issues here and there, right? A few solitary issues here and there that are like being indicated that they're like a huge problem. BetterHelp rejected me, which only made me feel more depressed. Yeah, that's a good indication that you probably had a severe problem. And also, depending on when these were actually posted, unfortunately it doesn't say. Depending on when these were posted, it's entirely possible they didn't have anyone in the area that had time to work with these people. And they were, rather than saying, we're too busy, for some reason their system defaulted to just rejecting them based on the severe issues that they needed to get help with.
So I wanted to make this.
By the way, can we just take a second here to enjoy the irony, the ridiculousness of the fact that Memology's whole logic here is, let's trust the comments of YouTube, who are admitting that they went to an app to deal with their mental issues. As the voice of reason. Mentally ill YouTube commenters are the supposed voice of reason. What is the logic here, bro? Are you kidding me?
Hey guys, so I wanted to make this video. This is kind of a controversial video. I don't even know if I might get in trouble for doing this video. I have no idea, but I have to make it. Enough is enough. I have to make it. So I've been seeing a lot of mental health YouTubers and even non-mental health YouTubers. Like one of my favorite ASMR people was doing this, talking about BetterHelp. And BetterHelp, if you don't know by now, and you probably do because everyone's been plugging it, is an online therapy tool where you can get your basically online therapy at a reasonable price. It sounds great. It sounds awesome. And about 6 months ago, I was approached by them for a sponsorship, and I was super excited. I was so pumped. It was maybe even longer than that, like a year ago. And I was super pumped. I was really, really pumped up. I'm like, I've never had a sponsorship on this channel. That must mean that my channel is growing and this is like a legit thing. The online therapy sounds great. I was so excited, you guys. I was so pumped up. Not gonna lie. And they offered me a free trial. I think at least at the time that I was done, at least at the time, a free trial was on the table for everyone. So I did the free trial, you know, really with high hopes, hoping that this would be something super helpful and I could recommend it to you guys and tell you guys about my experience and, you know, maybe get a little money. Like, for sure, that sounds great. And everybody wins, and it's just a wonderful win cycle. So I did the free trial. I think you guys know where this is going because, yeah, you know where this is going. I had a horrible experience. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. Listen, BetterHelp, it's online therapist, so it really depends on the therapist, I imagine. And I imagine there's a lot of great success stories and people that have been helped. I'm not trying to discount that. I'm not trying to imply that those other YouTubers are lying to you or tricking you in any way. Maybe they did the free trial and it was just magic and they loved it and they are just spreading the word. But I have to make this video because I had such a horrible experience and I couldn't, in good conscience, after doing the trial, recommend it to you guys as much as I wanted to. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to, but I could not. I literally could not because that's how bad the experience was. There, you know, there was no moral ambiguity about it. It couldn't happen. So let me tell you what happened. I had this therapist and we agreed to do either a video or a phone appointment because there's a couple of different options. And we'd been messaging a couple times, and I was immediately a little put off because he didn't have good grammar, there was misspellings, it seemed kind of unprofessional right from the get-go, right? Like, I'm typing up this, you know, particular thing, and then he's coming back with this mess, unprofessional mess, and I was just like, is this a real therapist? Like, you know, maybe I'm being judgmental, but it just didn't seem professional to me.
They may not be
anyway, we scheduled the appointment to actually have, like, a little
English
video
speaker for their first
chat
language.
about the situation. So I show up to the appointment. I'm sitting at the computer. 10 minutes go by. 30 minutes go by. The entire hour goes by. He does not show up. So I write him and I'm like, I'm confused. Did I make a mistake? It's, you know, it's not really one of those things where you can make a mistake. Like, it's locked in. Like, you pick your appointment time and it sets it. So it's not like you communicating with them. How about Tuesday at 9? You know what I mean? Like, you pick the appointment time. So I was confused, but willing to hear him out. So I messaged him politely and was like, hey, you know, I showed up. What's going on? And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. You know, I don't know. I don't even know. But I forgot, and we'll reschedule. So I rescheduled.
I feel like some of these people forget that because it's online, they have other people they're dealing with at just as inconsistent a rate. It's entirely possible he was on a video call with someone else, lost track of time trying to help them with something more serious. Who knows? But the assumption she has is that he's lazy.
Schedule. I'm put off at this point a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Because, first of all, our messages don't seem professional. Or at least on his end. They didn't seem professional. And he just completely, no, like, warning, no...
And I'm not saying that's the case. I have no idea. My point is, therapists, especially in this... like, at this time, using this app for work, they were in demand, so they were probably also overworked. The number of clients was probably huge.
Heads up, just completely missed our appointment. This happened, you guys, 2 more times. 2 more times I rescheduled and he didn't show up. 2 more times. A total of 3 times this happened. And
before the YouTube sponsorships happened, the app had a great Better Business Bureau rating. It was one of the... I remember Phil Defranco and other people mentioning this. Better Business Bureau is not a nobody company. This isn't like just some random thing. That's like the FDA, but not government related, as far as I know. Although they might be. I'm not positive. I don't remember if they're government related. If they're an independent company, I believe they're an independent company though. But yeah, so I don't know. There's just too many flaws in the logic of like assuming anything with all this. It's too complicated to make such massive assumptions.
And I mean, there's nothing I can say other than there's no way in hell I could recommend them to you guys. I love you guys. You're my little YouTube family.
She's also talking about only one therapist she talked to. Therapists, you have to go to a couple therapists and feel them out to find somebody that really works for you. She tried one therapist and said, no, the service is trash. But like she even said earlier in the video, it probably depends on the therapist.
And there's no way that I could be like, you guys, click my affiliate link, go give me money by signing up.
She's
for
right
this
about
free
that.
trial.
If you didn't have a good experience, don't promote it anyway.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that after this ridiculous display with this therapist, and the free trial was up, and I was just like, this is absurd. I never actually received any therapy. We just kept setting appointments, and he just kept missing them and not giving me any warning or any real reason, and was really unprofessional in his messages. So I'm seeing BetterHelp everywhere, and I'm getting flashbacks. I'm just like, oh, BetterHelp. And, you know, I'm seeing it all over the place, and I'm not saying that it's a terrible company. I'm not saying it doesn't help people out. I'm not saying avoid it at all costs. I'm not saying anything beyond what my personal experience is. And my personal experience was just ridiculous. Like, it was just stupid. It was really stupid. So take it for what you will. I'm just going to be honest about it and let you guys know. Be a voice of, I don't know, just a voice out there that says, hey, I didn't have a good experience. I had a bad experience. So it's not all rainbows and sunshine. You can get stuck with a bad therapist, an online therapist. I don't know what their vetting system is, because this guy didn't even seem like a real therapist. So that would be my main critique, is like, what, I understand that every therapist is different, but surely there has to be a standard, and this guy was way below the standard.
According to her, though, she never really even talked to him. So I don't know how she can say he doesn't sound like a real therapist when the few messages they had, because they were bad grammar, and that he missed every appointment. We have no idea what the situation was. He had bad grammar. Could be a non-native English speaker. I know somebody who speaks pretty clear English. Can't type to save their life.
So how do you, what are they doing to make sure that everyone's up to a standard? Like, what's the deal? What's happening? So I couldn't recommend them to you guys, and I wanted to share my experience with you.
Did she report them to the place or whatever? Even though her channel is small in terms of subscribers, she had the balls to reject their sponsorship after experiencing firsthand their services and making that video. Brings light to this hole, which is just going deeper. One person had a bad experience as a creator. Why would other creators put their name on the line for something that was clearly not working? That doesn't make any sense. So far, this whole thing has been a train wreck. All his videos have been a train wreck. Before we dig deeper into the situation, it needs to be addressed that not every creator sponsored by BetterHelp is a shill, scammer, or fraud. Is he saying that like L Mills and everybody else he showed are shill, scammers, and frauds? Dealing with anxiety. Is it because it says anxiety and not depression? What?
Talking about anxiety, and I'm smiling while I'm saying it because I feel awkward. Like, it feels weird to be on my YouTube channel and like talking about something like that isn't just like a stupid funny thing to joke about. But we're gonna talk about that. Anxiety. I usually wouldn't make a video about
Wait, so this video is out of his norm. It's content he doesn't usually do, and it's about anxiety. This is not an example of a scammer, but the other ones are? This is the same thing.
something like this, I'd be like, oh, it's too serious.
Except
like,
it's not depression, it's anxiety.
Like a fun escape from reality where like you just talk about funny shit. I wouldn't usually make a video being like, let's talk about anxiety. I'm sure if you watch my channel, like you understand that. BetterHelp reached out to me and they're like, do you want to do a video about like mental health and whatever? And at first I was like, no, like I don't want to do that. But then I was like, you know what? Like, why not? Like, I obviously struggle with anxiety. I'm sure everyone does to some extent. Everyone deals with something. And I just figured, why not? I mean, we're at a deep enough connection where we can talk about this. We can do it. Basically, I'm just going to talk about how I've dealt with my anxiety. I'm not obviously a licensed therapist. I'm just a regular human being, but I figured, you know what? If this can help someone else, why not do it?
I'm at a loss.
Like, extreme
I don't.
Intense anxiety. I think I have like mild. I don't really know. But that being said, I'm going to talk about some things that really help me feel better, and maybe they'll help you feel better. Who knows?
I'm getting a headache. Regardless of his content, he was upfront in stating he was done the video because he was reached out for BetterHelp, not because his anxiety suddenly came out of the woodwork. None of the others said it suddenly came. What? He's creating so much narrative. It's not even funny. Because they had one little line, one little sentence about that they reached out to him. FTC, by using my BetterHelp referral link, you're supporting this. You are supporting this channel. I receive commissions on sales. She cared to state the nature of the sponsorship during a video because she reached out and that she will be making some money out of it. Both of them genuinely believe in it while stating it may not work for everyone. Doesn't Boogie do that, but vocally? Boogie does that for every sponsorship. He says that stuff, and then did he not in the video about BetterHelp?
Dealing with a lot of stuff.
Unlike other creators who magically have depression out of nowhere to coincide with their sponsored video. Bro, Elle Mills was off of the platform for like 4 months before she made her video. What do you mean out of nowhere? This is the most unhinged thing I've seen in a long time. William Osmond is bad, but this is legitimately unhinged, ridiculous conspiracy theory, bro. He's being so selective with what he's talking about. And then spinning it after that. If she was able to place a disclaimer, why not bother? Or why not? Well, don't other creators do so? Some of them say it in the video. What are you talking about? As well, months ago, I mean, it's a sponsorship. They know they're getting paid. Douchebag. That's what a sponsorship is. Why do they need to put a disclaimer for a sponsorship to explain what a sponsorship is? They don't. That's a sponsorship. This is so dumb. As well, months ago, a YouTuber known as Zero Excuse found out some details about their business practices that he did not agree with. He decided to end the partnership. I recently come to attention despite the good intention behind BetterHelp support, a support website that was intended to help. I will be following in line with many other streamers, ending my partnership with them immediately. While I'm sure you could do your own research behind my decision, I will not be discussing the specifications of any plug for. So he's not going to say why he doesn't want to support it. Why can't he say why he doesn't want to support it? What? What were the problems? This is just vague nothingness. Again, not every creator out there is looking to fabricate depression videos. Some are up-and-coming creators that are happy to get a sponsor and discuss their experiences with no ill will. Everything is linked, including the creators that didn't mean anything by it. Another finding, thanks to you, was a mysterious business regarding the referral links. Is this the thing with Rogue Rocket and Philip DeFranco that it says it was actually from Rogue Rocket? Yeah. Guess what? Even Keemstar nowadays is helping hook people up through him for sponsorships. This is not something that was new at the time, nor is it new now. Why does the referral link on Boogie's channel redirect to Philip DeFranco's referral custom page? We may find this later on. Because Boogie didn't have somebody setting up sponsorships for him, from my understanding. He didn't have, as far as I understand it, he didn't have somebody that was like getting contacts, making connections, and then getting sponsorships, making the deal for him, and having him just sign the dotted line and do the contract. So people like Phil would hook people up with sponsorships as kind of like an agency, an ad agency.
I'm working with BetterHelp to help provide another resource for you guys.
Antagonizing mental health. Oh, jeez. As we go back to Shane Dawson, Jake Paul. Wait, what was that? He didn't really give any information. So much of this stuff feels like clips that don't have any reason to be there. Out of all these videos, I don't think I want to finish these. Because so much of it's been nonsense so far. But I don't know if he actually finds a lot of the stuff that people go off of. So I don't know if it's worth it or not. 2 videos, he hasn't spoken. Jake Paul, 2 videos, and he has. This is while they're still airing. A lady who's a therapist has been pushing BetterHelp since the dawn of time, which there's still not really a problem with it. One day later, as you see, she's already capitalizing on the sociopath term, which was thrown around like candy on Shane's documentary. It's somewhat clickbait, but that's not like who else did like, everyone threw that word around there at that point. Not only that, but the whole psychology was antagonizing mental health. The whole psychology was what? The whole psychology. What is he talking about? The whole psychology was antagonizing mental health. Does he mean the whole intention was antagonizing mental health? So in other words, what he's saying is they were trying to stir people up and make them think they had a problem to get them to go to BetterHelp. Is that what he's saying? They were trying to gaslight people into making them feel insane. Am I understanding that correctly?
All right, welcome to part 2 of The Mind of Jake Paul. Now, today's episode, I sit down with therapist Katie Morton to talk about the psychology of Jake Paul. Have you met any sociopaths?
Oh, I was just saying, I feel like I'm about to get on a roller coaster right now.
Well, I'll explain later what this all is. There's a lot more to it than just like, originally we were going to talk about YouTubers.
Yeah.
And if you have to be kind of a sociopath to be a YouTuber.
Honestly, are you a sociopath?
I don't know.
We all know David's a psychopath.
This is a surprise, y'all.
Exactly.
I'm also not a sociopath.
Or have some type of personality disorder. It kind of led into a weird direction, which we'll get into later. Before we do that, sociopaths.
Yes.
You know, you came on my podcast, and you were very clued in. Like, you knew that I had struggled with an eating disorder.
I look in the mirror and I see a huge person.
What is body dysmorphic disorder, and how do we know if we have it?
You knew by even looking at me. You're very intuitive about all that. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about this, because I feel like if anybody could tell me what to look for, it would be you. Because I feel like, do you spot them?
You can feel them. I don't know if you can really spot them.
Now this is where I get off the train. This is some if Medium. What? If Medium had a baby with Twilight Zone. Oh. Not really. Because you can read when someone's being fake. People that are used to talking to fake people can read a fake person.
I don't know if you can really spot them.
I hated that. Oh my god. Okay, what do you mean you can feel them?
It's like you said, roller coaster.
There's a way you can carry. There's a way they carry themselves.
It's almost like when you're around people like this, it's if you sense what I sense, I guess, about them, it's like a pit in your stomach. Like it's that feeling, but just from them being around.
What are the characteristics?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it.
The serious tone of this doc is about the pause was left behind.
What are the characteristics, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. A lot of it is just the main thing that people talk about is like they have no empathy. And I think that's a hard thing for people to actually fully understand, because most of us don't have this issue. So we feel for other people.
Yeah.
And we feel all day.
I feel like people forget that Shane Dawson was like reacting to people's responses. Like people were like generally calling Jake Paul like things like a sociopath and crazy, insane, and this and that. Like people were calling him these things. That is a big part of the reason that he did that. He generalized it to just being called a sociopath, but that's one of the things people were calling him at the time. This is just dumb.
I feel pissed off. I feel excited. I feel disappointed, whatever. They don't have any of that. For instance, the other day I was in my car and I'm driving and there's this little lady that started to get into the crosswalk and I was like, honey, you got like 12 seconds. I'm worried. I hope people wait for you and like pay attention.
Right.
You know, a sociopath would just be like, ugh. Like it wouldn't worry. There's no worry for her. They don't have any empathy for the situation for her. They wouldn't, if someone kicked a dog and they saw it, they wouldn't feel anything for it. They just have no empathy. And I know I'm talking about like bad things, but also good things. Like they just don't, like imagine if you lived in a world in your brain where anything that happened to other people, you didn't really care about it at all. You didn't care how they felt. You didn't care what happened to them, as long as it didn't affect you.
Studying social context where she just goes on a tangent to antagonize sociopaths as evil. I don't think he understands what the word antagonizes means. But yeah, she even admitted there that it even works for good things. Like it's just like it's a lack of ability to relate. Like a lot of what happened with that, with like it coming off as like them being evil, has more to do with his tone and the clips he shows. It has nothing to do with how she described it.
They're actually super intelligent, usually, because to manipulate takes a lot of intelligence, but I don't know if they can.
Could it get dangerous?
Definitely. Very much so. 15% of those in prison have antisocial personality disorder or are sociopaths.
Yeah, that was a quick reaction that she had.
So your only regret is that the torture didn't go on anymore?
Right, and I regret not killing my other victim. I should have killed him too. I just didn't have time. I had to go somewhere.
Will you kill again?
If the opportunity arises, I hope so. Okay, we're done.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right.
Good shit, dude. That's gonna be crazy, isn't it?
See what I mean? That was more the editing than what she said. By showing the murderer during their sociopath talk, every single young individual who has sociopathic tendencies will relate and think that's their future. No, they won't. You're putting that thought in their heads more than he did. What? You're putting in the thought that this is manipulation more than they were putting the thought in their head that that's like the only end destination for those people. Bro, I'm cringing really hard over all this. Okay. Is he just showing commercials for BetterHelp? We just saw our actual BetterHelp ads. On this episode, we will go into the legitimacy of their services. That's what you've been doing this whole time. That's not new. That's what you've been doing the whole time. According to their website, they are Hipaa certified. Hipaa is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act in the United States.
Now, before I continue, I do want to let you guys know that even though I don't live in the United States, I work for over 6.5 years for Santander Consumer USA. And I also work on a position called Compliance Auditor, in which my job was to audit and make sure that 17 departments around the company, which was a call center, complied with laws and regulations of the United States, including the Hipaa law. Now, I do mention Hipaa in this video because how can the company be Hipaa certified if when you go to their policy, privacy policy, and also license agreement, they state that they won't be held accountable for the counselor's actions, and basically they won't be held liable if there's any leak or any misuse of the information provided between the counselor and the customer.
Easy thing to explain. Because I don't know if you know this, but the doctor is the one that's responsible for that. The therapist, let's see, therapist, Hipaa law. Simple Hipaa compliant hosting. Oh, look at that. You can just get through there. Okay. Let's see. Ask a lawyer. Hipaa, New Jersey answers. Never mind. Wait.
What's
Look
up,
at
guys? So I had never worked with BetterHelp in
So
the
just
past
when you-
before, but many of you have asked me whether it's worth it.
There it is. Okay. Chat with a Hipaa compliance lawyer in minutes. This is a service that's just like, you could just talk to a Hipaa lawyer if you just sign up. Bro, this is such nonsense.
So, if anything happens...
Here's the thing. The therapists are responsible for their actions. The website isn't. That's the point. So they can be certified if the whole thing, they could, let me rephrase this, right? Let me rephrase this. They could probably just be certified to offer connection services, right? Like, for example, Craigslist is not responsible if you get hepatitis from somebody that you hook up with in the connections part of their website or whatever, and you share a needle. They're not responsible, right? You connected with somebody, you followed the path of your conversations, and you went through the service that you were looking for. If you're looking for help with depression and you're talking to a depression therapist, and that therapist goes out and does something, they're saying they're not reliable, they're not liable for what that therapist does. That's all it really comes down to. I don't know who this person is that's talking. I don't think this is Mimology, because I don't think he's ever talked on voice. Even in private calls when there was nobody streaming, I've never heard him talk.
The responsibility falls on the customer and the counselor. So, again, how can the company be Hipaa certified if, when something happens, that company will never suffer the consequence?
Because the doctor would be the one that violated HIPAA law.
Of any action that happened.
If a doctor works out of a practice, the practice isn't responsible for that doctor. They'll have to get rid of the doctor because the doctor will lose his license and all that. But that practice won't necessarily go under because the doctor broke the law.
What occurs with that information.
Here we go. This is what I want to get into at some point. I was hoping he was going to have this.
Professional about some of your feels, then I want to tell you about BetterHelp.
Oh, never mind.
BetterHelp is a program that has assisted over 600,000 people. Pretty cool.
That today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. This is something I really think is great, something I actually really believe in. So
I had a therapy session today. I feel a million times better. Do not wait. Reach out. Go to BetterHelp.com and talk to someone. I promise you will feel better if you talk to someone, whatever you're going through. I just finished my session and I talked for about an hour to someone today, and it was incredible.
Video, I'm working with BetterHelp to help provide another resource for you guys. BetterHelp is an app and a website that allows you to text, chat, or phone or video call with licensed therapists and start communicating in under 24 hours.
It reached out to me several months ago to see if I was interested in doing an ad, and during that time I've been utilizing the service to make sure it was actually something I wanted to promote to you guys. You can use the link right here on the screen or down in the description to get access to online therapy. If you feel uncomfortable going into an actual office and waiting in line, this is a fantastic tool to help combat.
Better over the last couple of months is because I got back into therapy and I started right there with BetterHelp, and I recommend if you need therapy, it's a good place to get started.
They were sponsored. That means they were paid to... Oh, my word. Indeed, paid testimonials require the creator to disclose that they work for them may not work for you. Yeah. What? It's more like an anecdote that they're saying during their experience. I don't think that's necessarily a testimonial. First of all. They said, it's just saying, yeah, I tried the app. It worked pretty well. If they're not asked to, like, if they're just asked, like, you know, if you want to mention your experience with the app, you know, go ahead and do that. I don't think it's the same thing as a paid testimonial, like where you just recorded a video just talking about how great the app was and how beneficial it was to you. I don't know if I don't know if that's the same thing like they're saying it is. And on top of that, like I said, they're stating it's a sponsorship. Boogie did this, half only reminding you that he's getting a cut. See, I told you, he did that. I knew it. He's always done that. He's always clear about the fact that you use my code and I get a little bit of a cut and then we all benefit. The rest are just acting like they recommend the service out of kindness of their heart, like if it was a holy grail. Except that they said it was sponsored. That's why they had the link and they said they were sponsored. Didn't he in one of the previous videos when he shows all the screenshots of all the links, didn't it say sponsor by the link?
find.
Is it this one? Where is it? It wasn't the first one, was it? Oh, it is the first one. Okay. Let's see. Sign up. Affordable private content anywhere. Okay, that one's he said that he said it was an ad, and that's cut off there. It might even say something underneath of it. We don't know. You can sign up here for that one. Okay, I got to give them credit. Yeah, they didn't say specifically there that it's a sponsor, but they said in the video it's sponsored probably. Thank you for sponsoring this video. That's acknowledging it. Okay. Oh,
he falls through store ceiling twice.
What? Wait a minute. What happened? Go back. Okay, this one doesn't. I can't see whether it says it was sponsored or not. Try BetterHelp. Gabby. Gabby's definitely known for her great decisions. This one doesn't say it, but it's a sponsor. You can pretty much guarantee that Phil Defranco probably announced it that way because he's always done the same thing with his sponsors. He always says, "Oh, and that's where it brings us today's sponsor," that kind of thing. Trustworthy reviews. So in episode 6 is where we get to the all right, memology, acknowledging YouTubers were sponsored. I mean, they did, but, you know, whatever. Let's go back here. I want to see what that whole thing says real quick. You know, most communication is nonverbal. 55% of any messages is conveyed through the body language, and 38% cadence and tone of voice, and blank petty 7 and what? And a petty 7% is actual words you use. Seems like online therapy would be sort of useless, except you can also do therapy in video. That is a big part of the service. That was the whole point. Oh my word, this is so dishonest. Seems like online therapy would be sort of useless. I worked in the mental health field for some years and even played with and even with rigorous standards, vetting, degrees, and education, there were plenty of terrible therapists in various facilities I was employed. Less so with psychiatrists, psychologists, but even those were at times fired for some pretty egregious activities. That's the state-run level, so imagine how poorly vetted any of these online therapists are. Hosting the user reviews only on the company site, only a company's own site, is a major red flag as well, especially with something as subjective and delicate as mental health. Bias is always present. A third-party review site would be the only remotely reliable way to review such a service. This whole thing is kind of frightening, really. It's not like they stopped reviews on other websites from existing. They just had reviews optional on their own site, probably because they asked for, like, hey, when you're done using our service, can you give us a testimonial? Like how was your service? What did you think of your service? And then they use that as an example of their service. That's probably how that happened. That's just ridiculous. Reviews for counselors that work at BetterHelp. If you would like to review your counselor, please send your... Oh, so you were also able to review your individual counselor. So if you had a bad counselor, you could review your counselor. Isn't that crazy? It's almost like some of the complaints about like how counselors sucked or whatever. You could report them or you could review them negatively. You could do a bunch of that stuff. Kind of like how Uber, you can review a bad driver. Contact BetterHelp.com to review them. They don't allow community reviews on their site. You have to email them your review first. This means only green-lighted reviews are shown on the site. So you're assuming this means that they don't take them into account when they deal with their people. You're assuming this means that no one gets fired for enough bad reviews. Transparency is clearly not present in this situation at the moment. Thank you for watching and joining a Quest of Rabbit Hole. This still seems like all manipulation. There's a very small bit of value to what he's saying. Is the help you need, but not the one you deserve.
That I want to share some stuff I love today, and today and also brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp, if you don't know, is a fantastic place where you can get affordable private online counseling. You get access to licensed, trained, experienced, accredited psychologists.
What do you know? He acknowledged it's a sponsor.
Social workers and board licensed professional counselors. All you've got to do is go to BetterHelp.com/Defranco. You fill out a questionnaire, they match you with a counselor, and you can start counseling today. And really leaning into the affordable aspect, after 3 months, the service becomes cheaper for you. Also, if money's an issue, you can see if you're eligible for a financial aid discount. And for me personally, and I don't know if this is TMI because I signed up for this sponsorship. I was initially excited about this because I've wanted to do this, but my time is so screwed right now. The job, the kids, whenever I would try and go somewhere, it's like 2 hours of my life, and then I gotta feel out if this person is working with me. But with BetterHelp, I don't feel like I'm wasting time. If I didn't vibe with the first therapist, I could have just gotten paired with someone else. So if that sounds interesting to you, you want to try it out, go to BetterHelp.
That's not really a testimonial. You acknowledge that we do not represent, verify, or do not agree with the verification of the skills, attendance, background, or counselor. It is your responsibility to conduct independent verification regarding whatever. I wish that wasn't cut off. They're promoting the service has licensed. They're promoting the service has licensed therapists. However, its own term states otherwise. No, that's not what it says. That's a liability thing. And even in that case, what they're probably referring to is making sure that you're getting the right kind of therapy, because there are different types of therapy, different types of use case for different type of therapy therapists. While using the platform, you and a provider would likely write or say things by means of text-based communication, such as messages, verbal communication, or video communication, either internally or to each other collectively. Session content. The session content is shared with the provider or providers that work with you. The session content may be used either by itself or in conjunction with other information for the following purposes. Let a provider provide the service to you, supervise, administer and monitor the service, allow professional supervision to the provider by qualified professionals. Allow professional supervision to the provider. Okay, so that they were saying right there that in some cases they may actually need to review your therapy sessions, and they may have someone supervise your provider. That's like making sure that that the therapist is doing their job. They're saying these are things that these are things that may need to come into play at some point. Note that not all communication transferred to the platform may be recorded. Note that all communications, transmitted through the platform may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance and training purposes and become part of your file and records. They keep a record of that stuff like a regular therapist would, which means they can make sure that the therapists are doing their job. Doesn't mean that they will necessarily. As well, your sessions won't be private. What? That would violate Hipaa. They state they will use them for quality assurance and training purposes. Train who? Counselors are not their employees, and quality assurance of what? The service! It's like he's intentionally dense. I don't understand this. Why did this get so much support back at the time? We make no representation or warranty whatsoever. The willingness... Yeah, that doesn't mean that they're not going to try. Dude, the counselors are neither our employees nor agents or representatives. Furthermore, we assume no responsibility for any act, omission, or wrongdoing of any counselor. Yes, again, liability. Clearly stated they won't assume responsibility for anything, won't necessarily assume responsibility. Doesn't mean they don't care. Doesn't mean they're not going to put in the effort. That happens between you and the counselor. They're not going to say, we take full responsibility for anything our people do. They're not going to do that. He's just showing the same screenshots now. They state it is your responsibility to look into the counselor's background and also state that they won't verify the counselor's credentials. So how do you know if they are licensed? Is that what that screenshot actually says? Because it doesn't say what they need to verify. They do not verify the verification of skills. It is your responsibility to conduct independent verification regarding what? We're just taking your word on what it says. Oh my word, I'm getting a headache. Talk with licensed professional therapist online. And returning to HIPAA, you just talked about how they're supposedly violating. You just said that they're violating HIPAA because they're recording, but that's not what's happening. Since it was brought up in the video, I thought I would point out that HIPAA certification isn't even a thing. The term HIPAA compliance verification is often interchanged with HIPAA certification or HIPAA certified. None of the three terms are recognized by the Department of Health and Human Services, who state on its website there is no HIPAA certification process, and no company has the authority to certify HIPAA compliance. Such certifications do not absolve covered entities of their legal obligations. Did it occur to him at the time that maybe I never saw anywhere that it said we are HIPAA compliant or we have a certification from HIPAA? I never saw that anywhere. That may just mean that we follow the HIPAA guidelines. What is that supposed to mean? It just means that that this person thinks that their system is too insecure. That doesn't mean anything for HIPAA. What? And just as we thought the HIPAA certification is worth nothing, adding to that, HIPAA standards, plus this is a global service since it's online, I assume. Whose laws and requirements for licensing, privacy, and certification are they even going by? If HIPAA is only a U.S. thing, then they're going by HIPAA. The U.S. thing. I'm pretty sure it wasn't HIPAA. Wasn't part of HIPAA. Is a United States federal statute. So then they're going by the U.S. Question answered. They tend to vary just a little tiny bit. Is it the country, state that you're a patient in, or is it the counselor? How could they even manage that, let alone vet that? I think I can buy a doctorate and medical license from Uganda on eBay. This is really ridiculous. No, because if they're going by... Oh, my word. This is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. His logic is just following whatever random commenters say. Oh my word. In this situation, it's not like YouTube. For example, YouTube is providing services to everyone everywhere, right? You have to follow the content guidelines of those countries when you are providing the content because you're the contractor. Right? So if I upload a video where I do something wrong that's not allowed in like Egypt or something, right? I'm responsible more than YouTube is. YouTube is hosting it, but they specifically are supposed to like region lock things to areas that they're not supposed to be in. Like there's plenty of videos that have been region locked for people like Gus Johnson and stuff like that. Granted, that's usually more of a contract dispute type thing, but this is nonsense. The guy's name is Chad Klecker. Okay, never mind. I thought that was a meme because it's Chad, but it's not. I thought it said Chad Heckler at first. The business is online and available to people around the globe. So how are you going to regulate that? Well, here's the one thing for starters. Okay, the service is all taking place if there's not therapists outside the U.S. and they're following HIPAA guidelines, just bear with me here. You probably don't have to apply to outside the U.S. because if you're following HIPAA guidelines and everyone is going through to the U.S. to get the service, as long as they're not violating anything outside the U.S. guidelines and HIPAA is being followed, then you're probably good. Just don't leak public information, private information. Don't leak private information about your sessions. This is diving so down a rabbit hole to try and find something wrong. Like, he keeps talking about how it's a rabbit hole. You're diving so far into the rabbit hole to find the grass at the top of the hole. Like, it's surface level, but you're trying to dig real deep to find a problem. They've been rejecting a lot of people applying for their service. Some of the excuses as to why include, but are not limited to, that the person is applying is under 18. We do not allow any other agency to use the platform without parental consent, authorization, and presence. As you can see, they do not allow people under 18 as customers as long as they have their parents' approval. So rejecting people under the 18 is just another excuse. No, the parents need to be there as part of the process. This is like unhinged nonsense. Why is he back on this thing again about people getting turned away? BetterHelp has one of the worst therapists I've ever seen. I've done a lot of face-to-face and over-the-phone counseling, but the quality of these therapists are terrible. First therapist told me I was emotionally unstable and shouldn't be in relationships with no advice on how I should get help. I think that's very judgmental to tell somebody seeking therapy. Bad therapist. Okay. Report him. Second therapist responded a little and requested a video conference, but then canceled at the last minute after waiting a week for the conference. Okay, that's all? Okay. Third therapist was actually really responsive, but then decides to take a 2-week vacation. Decides to or had a vacation planned. I think there should be an opportunity for someone else in the meantime to go back to that therapist. I ended up waiting 2 weeks to actually talk to someone, and now she's on vacation for 2 more weeks, and I have to find another therapist. Overall, I don't think the therapists are really interested in helping people, and they're using this platform as some kind of side income. I'm very disappointed and will never use the service again. It's very possible that was the case. It's very possible that people were using this as side income while they were a therapist doing their usual thing. And then they got overwhelmed when the platform blew up. Because again, this was in July of 2018, during the period of time where everything was exploding for this platform. Guess I won't be using BetterHelp anytime soon. It's just all the same thing. It's just all the same complaint. So if you're a person who's genuinely depressed or don't fit their criteria, you can just go F yourself, because they want people who think they're depressed but really aren't. That's another assumption. There's not a real basis for that. Here's the thing. If you pay for the service, you can just change therapist a few times and find one that works for you. That third one that they found worked well, but they had a small problem. They needed a vacation. Is it possible that they were overwhelmed from their job being blown up? Therapists are also people too. They're not robots. Oh my word! It's just more. My guess, I can try to do online therapy. Yeah, all of this screams to me that they were just overwhelmed. Empty your pockets. Here we go. Kind of want to apply to BetterHelp because online counseling fits better for my current health situation, but it's too expensive. It's actually a lot cheaper for me to go to an office. I'm so mad. Again, though, as I said earlier, that's only if you're only going once or twice a month. If you're going more than like once or twice a month, it's most likely more expensive. I've gone to couples counseling before with my ex. That was not cheap. It was like $300 a month minimum. Like that's if we went one time a week. It was $300, $400 a month. It was not cheap. Grr. I decided it's a scam. I'm a random person on Twitter. Grr. Change your subscription. Where are these options when you first go to sign up? Why are you not transparent about your prices? Why did you raise your pricing? Why did you not disclose your $35 a week is actually billed yearly? Why did you just now come out of hiding? What? Okay. I have a hard time believing that I get the feeling this person just heard people say $35 a week and didn't actually look at the contract. So many people do that. They'll like blame the wording of an ad read, but not. It says it right there. As low as $35 a week. That's accurate to what they said. They just didn't clarify that. It says it right there on the subscription thing. The lowest weekly charge is in reality one big yearly payment. The money needs to be paid up front for the whole year if you want the cheapest price. And you can also cancel your sub. Not everyone can afford a huge bombshell charge at once. That's a shame too, because I was really hyped about BetterHelp. They said within 24 hours, and this person's complaining about 16, and he used this as logic that like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I tried looking at BetterHelp because it's Shane Dawson would do literally $260 a month. My rent is $300 a month. This is why we can't get help. I clicked on an ad. Yeah, so much is if you want to exit the payment page, the only options are alienating you into thinking you're going through is BS and that you don't really need help. How? Wait, I clicked on the ad, and honestly, the payment page pissed me off so much. Once they tell you that your price options are to pay it, or to invalidate your own mental illness, there's no option. I can't afford this. I don't need help. It's BS. I'm not sure about the effectiveness on counseling. I don't feel I need that I need help at the moment. What? Why is this also cut off? Why is the screenshot cut off in the middle? And if you want to exit the payment, I don't know. That's not necessarily what it does. What? Apply for financial aid. I told them I make $0 a month. I have no government assistance, which is true. They assumed $39 a week suitable for my situation. Why? Where am I getting $39 a week when I make $0 a month? It's still a discount. What did you expect? You make $0 a month and you have 0 options. Like, what did you expect them to do? It's not okay to charge me $440 when we never talked. I requested a refund immediately and no response. This is unethical. Here's the proof. Why is it such a blurry screenshot? It's not okay to charge me $440 when we never talked. I requested a refund immediately, no response. This is very unethical. Here's the proof. She makes it sound like it was like right away, but it's $180 and $200 a month apart. It was $180 for 1 month and $180 for the next month. If she's being charged $40 a week, $4 weeks a month, that's about, or $40 to $60, that's somewhere around there. Actually, no, wait, I think it's $80 that it was supposed to be for the lowest one, which was the weekly thing. It was like $80, no, it's $40? I can't remember what. Anyway, the point is, she was billed for a month's service at $200 and a month's service at $200. That's what that says. What's unethical about it? I don't even know how it's $440. I'm seeing $200 and $180. That'd be what? $380. So that means this would have to be $260. Doesn't look like a 6 though. I don't know, maybe it is. It's just too blurry. I can't make it out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, it does say 260. Cool. Yeah, I still don't understand that. It was a month apart. It was 2 separate payments of a month apart. If they didn't use the service, then whose fault is that? They said they didn't talk to anybody. For more information, more and more information is getting out there. No transparency, no accountability, invalidating every bit of transparency you've tried to obscure. Invalidating your mental illness issues. What? I need to take my contacts out and get my glasses in. This is hurting my head. Is there any kind of traffic on the highway? I thought about life in 1,000 goals. Picture traffic. Problems are not solved by avoiding them. Just like traffic, it's your choice to go around it or go patient to face it. If you go around it, avoid it, in traffic later on, it might crash or face it. You're going to get your destination. The world wouldn't be the world without you. All of us are a part of it. You're part of the world. Having people manipulating you into online therapy for them to get a buck ain't the way to go. Therapy and medication should be a last resource. Therapy should be a last resource? Even with therapy, always try to reach a professional. That's what they're doing. They're licensed professionals. They might suck, some of them, but that's what they are. All right, we'll come back to memology. I'm gonna get my contacts out real quick because this is hurting my eyes. One second. Okay, I'm back. I actually gotta take my contacts out still. I had to go to the bathroom. Oh, no. Crap, my contact's still in. I can't get it out. That hurt. It felt like I was pulling on my eyeball. Hey, what's up, Dan? Default Dan. Oh, man. Oh, my eyes hurt. This whole thing is giving me an actual headache. I'm not kidding. Alright, we're taking a break from the memology stuff. Definitely taking a break from memology stuff. Alright, here we go. I wish I would have grabbed a drink before I came back. Alright. I'm not sure how much longer I want to go on this either. How long have I been streaming now? 2 hours? I'll go 1 more hour, and then I'll probably go over to Twitch for a little while to play some games or something.
Stuff that I need to deal with, and now I feel good. Anyways, I feel good. That's, what is that? Probably about...
So you can access professional, affordable, and convenient counseling.
I just hit a wall where it was gotten so bad that it was basically either stop making videos or disappear.
Also, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. More information about that at the end of this video.
I believe having a healthy mind to be a top priority, at least for myself. A healthy mind leads to a healthy life.
But before you guys go, I just want to share with you BetterHelp.
It may seem like you are unable to gain a clear perspective. You no longer need to feel the suffering. Counselors at BetterHelp are on your side.
Probably pulling 70, 80, 90-hour work
Alright,
weeks.
come on,
I don't
PewDiePie.
think
Get
these
to the
YouTubers
joke.
know what they're promoting.
BetterHelp to help provide another resource for you guys.
To be fair, I don't think these YouTubers know what they're promoting. And on the paper, it sounds like a great thing. If you can help people and get paid at the same time.
PewDiePie's audio
what's
is
wrong with
horrible
that?
in this
I
video.
don't think everyone is completely innocent, but I don't think there's any point in faulting anyone too much either. Recently, there's been a big topic on YouTube about mental health. 10 YouTubers fighting mental health stigma. YouTubers failing its creators.
Wait,
mental health.
wait,
10 YouTubers.
wait. Is that Mini Lad? That's not Mini Lad, is it? Okay, I don't think it is Mini Lad. No, it's Tom Ridgewell. Never heard of him. Okay, continue.
Fighting mental health stigma. YouTubers failing its creators and why YouTubers are feeling burnt out. I talked about this topic because I don't want people chasing phantom dragons. I don't want people to think that they win by acquiring wealth and fame. This is such a common misconception that somehow if you get rich and famous, all your problems are solved. When in reality, these are just cravings that everyone has that will never leave you satisfied. You will never feel happy and content. If a service like BetterHelp existed, they should take accountability for their counselors' actions. It should be in their best interest to make sure that anyone that signs up gets a good service. But in their terms of service, they say that they don't. And this is obviously because they're mass producing it. And they definitely should not market themselves as a substitute for therapy and then at the same time
Look at that. Uber doesn't have to is able to avoid liability for its drivers because it classifies drivers as independent contractors, not employees. You know what BetterHelp does? Independently contract therapists. It's almost like these platforms all just connect you with somebody, and they are not liable for issues that happen, and that's why they create that logic.
Times say that they aren't one and hidden in their terms of service. And YouTubers should not take a deal that gives them money per sign up if it's for mental health, or at the very least then disclaim that. I was slammed by mainstream media a few months ago for guess the controversy, guess the big thing that I did. Well, I shared Amazon referral links in my descriptions, which I've never even mentioned. That's right, everybody. I linked to my equipment, and I got a 10%. I know, I'm a literal scumbag. So what does this whole BetterHelp thing fit in? Where does that go? I mean, you can't just treat your fans like dollar signs. What kind of person would do that? It's disgusting, and I don't understand why anyone would do that. My fans, I treat with respect, and I would never sell them anything, ever. Check out the merch, guys. Link in the description. Please, the campaign is only 9
I love how he actually has the
days left.
So how much of that was a meme? I don't even know.
I talk a lot in my videos about problems for which the solution
This is a recent video.
is to see a therapist. And that's easy to say, but how do you find one? I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. I had a patient tell me that they found a therapist using BetterHelp. I'd heard about BetterHelp several years ago, but really didn't understand what it was. And at that time, online therapy wasn't widely accepted. But now, post-COVID, it's the norm. So I decided to take a look on the inside of BetterHelp to see what it was really about. I went through the sign-up process and I was assigned a therapist. And here's what I found. The first thing is, BetterHelp is not therapy. It's a platform that therapists use to deliver therapy for a monthly
Bum bum. The thing that everyone has struggled to understand. It is not a therapy platform. It is a platform to connect you to therapists.
fee. You get weekly.
You know what? Just for that, I'm clipping this. Dr. Tracy Marks. It's not therapy. It's a connection. Oy vey.
Sessions with a licensed therapist, either by phone or video. You also get to send unlimited messages, for which your therapist will usually respond once a day.
See? This is important. This is very important. You don't get that with therapists. You have only your weekly scheduled visit with a therapist usually. So you're paying slightly less in some cases. Sometimes it could be way more for a regular in-office therapist. But you get contact to your therapist unlimited in text form.
Your therapist can respond with feedback or send you worksheets to complete and discuss. This messaging feature is huge because traditionally, therapists will want to keep the therapy within the confines of the session. So if you have comments or you want to talk about how you're feeling, you need to wait until your next appointment. With BetterHelp, there's a live chat feature that you can use if your therapist is available. The live chatting does not count against your weekly sessions and is an additional way for you to talk with your therapist. Another interesting feature is the online journal. I've talked about journaling and how it's a great way to process emotions or work through a problem or just self-reflect. You have the option to make your journal notes visible to your therapist or keep it private. The therapist may use journal prompts as part of your therapy. Here's the feature that I really like. They have these daily groupinars. It's a live online group session.
Some of these are newer features, but some of these, like those ones we just looked at, were existing back in the day.
And you're not limited. I've attended several of these, and the information presented was very informative. Some of them make their slides available for download, and one therapist gave us a link to his free course on Udemy that went into more depth on the things he presented in the groupinar. When you sign up, you're asked a series of questions about your preferences. They take that information and match you with a therapist. If at some point you don't think it's a good match, you can request a different therapist. Feeling like you don't click with your therapist happens all the time in traditional therapy, but some people will just stick with a therapist or stop going to therapy because it's a hassle to start over and find another person. The BetterHelp platform makes it an easier process, though, to switch therapists. What's the price? The cost is $60 to $80 a week billed monthly, so that's $240 to $320 for a 4-week month. That's a bargain for a non-insurance rate, especially for what you get. The going rate here in Atlanta for a master's level therapist is about $150 to $175 a session. So you're looking at about $600 a month, which is twice as much. And you don't get the unlimited messaging in between sessions. Now, I have to say, the pricing is what drove some of my skepticism about the quality of the therapy, because after all, you get what you pay for, right? Well, these therapists don't have overhead costs. I'm in solo practice with an employee, an office space that I'm not using, utilities, etc. And it's not uncommon for a practice like mine to have 50% overhead costs. So for every $100 I get, 50 of it goes towards overhead. So with little or no overhead, you can afford to charge less. So all of this sounds really good. What are the negatives? Well, I actually had a hard time finding one, and I went in looking for negatives. I had an elitism attitude about the delivery model. I thought it was like some phone chat line where you don't even know if you're talking to a real therapist. And I don't even...
So this is crazy. So actual therapists have investigated the platform. The Better Business Bureau has investigated the platform. People left and right have investigated this platform, and no one can seem to find a problem with it, except for random Twitter and YouTube commenters. And then Redditors, of course. Wow, that's crazy.
I don't even know where I got that from. It was just prejudice on my part. I looked up my therapist and found her active Georgia license. I looked up some of the other therapists who were doing the webinars, and they had active licenses in their states. And that's public information, by the way. Another preconceived idea that I had was that maybe the therapists were fresh out of school and needing practice. I hate that I thought that, because a new therapist is still trained to do therapy, and they have to work under supervision for a set number of hours before they can even become licensed. But many of the therapists doing the groupinars had years of experience. The only thing that I would consider a relative negative is the 30-minute session time. I think 30 minutes goes by fast for a psychotherapy session, and usually with traditional therapy, you'll have 45 to 50-minute sessions. But with the online model, I think the messaging in between sessions makes up for the shorter appointments. You can cover a lot of ground with back and forth messaging, like getting feedback on homework assignments or discussing some of your journaling. So that's the platform. I went in skeptical about the quality of what you get for the price, but my mind was opened. So I'm thankful options like this are available to make therapy more accessible. Give it a look using the link below, which is betterhelp.com/drmarks. If you sign up for the service, you get 10% off your first month, and I get a referral commission. And I use that to offset the costs of producing my educational content for you. All the best with your therapy.
Now, obviously, because she has a sponsorship,
the online model.
I want to hear what you said real quick. Obviously, because she has a sponsorship, people like Memology would immediately be like, no, she can't have an opinion on this because she's biased.
To make therapy more accessible. Give it a look using the link below, which is betterhelp.com/drmarks. If you sign up for the service, you get 10% off your first month, and I get a referral commission. And I use that to
This was in May 2021, May 17, 2021. Let's go back to the beginning of the year and find out where she did that video. May. I don't remember what the, there it is, right there. Okay, so how good is BetterHelp? That was the video. Let's go to this one. Okay, she already had one here. Let's see how far back she had it, because if she produced multiple videos in a short period of time, she may not have had that approved yet. Okay, looks like she had it for a while. So she was just recommending something that her peers had been recommending, I guess, at that point. She doesn't have a sponsorship here. So she had a sponsorship a few weeks before she used it. So, I don't know. Maybe we can't take that into such a strong account after all. Where was the thumbnail? Somehow we end up way back there. All right. So let's see. Okay. She had it there. Let's go here. So she had it for about a month and a half, it looks like. She had that link for. But that could have very well been after she had done her research. And maybe she was doing more research at the time. So, I don't know. I won't completely disregard that because she is a doctor. She would get herself in a lot of trouble if she was promoting a garbage deal there. She would get herself in a lot of trouble if she was promoting that without doing the proper research. So that seems fairly likely. This one is not promoting BetterHelp. Oh wait, BetterHelp claims that. Okay, but this one does not have a referral link. There's just a bunch of resources.
To offer therapy services through BetterHelp. So I thought it would be a great idea to go ahead and apply to be a therapist through BetterHelp and share in a video what my experience was like. Stay tuned to find out how it went. Also, there is a very small person playing next to me, so you might be hearing her in the background. I'm not sure I like my hair today. What is it doing? I don't know. I'm losing so much hair. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. BetterHelp claims to be the world's largest online counseling platform. And at face value, it seems like such an amazing tool. It allows opportunity for so many more people to afford therapy who otherwise maybe couldn't afford the regular rate, and it allows therapists to offer online counseling from the comfort of their own home. I mean, it's a win-win situation, am I right? What's more, it seems like a great way for therapists to fill empty slots in their schedule while they wait for their private practice to grow. This all sounds so great, and I was determined to find out for myself, so I applied to be a BetterHelp therapist. The application process was rather thorough, and it seemed like they made a clear effort to verify that every applicant is a licensed therapist. I submitted my application, and while waiting to hear back, I did a little bit of digging on my own to learn more about how the BetterHelp platform works. From what I found, I concluded that I actually wouldn't be comfortable offering services through the BetterHelp platform, and I'll explain why shortly. After 2 weeks, I hadn't heard back about my application yet, so I emailed BetterHelp and heard back shortly from a representative who informed me that my application wouldn't go through because I'd marked that I was only available for chat sessions and not live video sessions, and that they were currently looking for therapists who could offer those live video sessions. Now, the reason why I checked that box is because 1, I was just signing up for BetterHelp as sort of an experiment, and 2, I have a little one at home who you can hear in the background of this video, and I wasn't about to fork out $25 plus an hour that it costs for a nanny in my area in order to earn possibly $15 to $20 an hour through BetterHelp. So because of all of that, I never got into the BetterHelp interface. But even if my application had gotten approved, I wouldn't have offered any counseling services through their platform, and here's why. Time for a small interlude to feed my baby.
2 hours later.
And we're back. BetterHelp claims that its mission is to make professional counseling accessible, affordable, and convenient, and provides access to licensed, trained, experienced, and accredited psychologists, marriage and family therapists, clinical social workers, and board-licensed professional counselors. So all of that might lead you to believe that BetterHelp offers therapy services. I mean, if they're checking that all the therapists are licensed, then they must be offering therapy, right? But a mosey into their FAQ page says that BetterHelp is not capable of substituting for traditional face-to-face therapy in every case, and to please note that your provider won't be able to make any official diagnosis, to fulfill any court order, or prescribe medication. Furthermore, on their terms and conditions page, they are careful to refer to the services offered as, quote, counselor services, rather than counseling or therapy. Once I saw this, I started to suspect that the services offered through BetterHelp are not legally considered therapy. That further led me to wonder whether our professional liability insurance would cover counselor services as rendered through BetterHelp. So I scoured the internet, did a bunch of Google searches, and in the end, I wasn't really able to find an answer to this question. I spent a full hour looking for answers to these questions, and I wasn't able to find them. And so I think probably the only way to really know would be to consult with a lawyer. And because it's not clear then if the services rendered through BetterHelp are technically considered therapy, it raises a slew of additional, very concerning questions. Who protects the client? Does client privilege apply? Who protects the therapist? Does BetterHelp have the right to actually sell client information? I don't know the answers to these questions.
What? You don't know the answer to those questions. Let's see. What is this logo? International Society for Mental Health Online. That seems like a pretty legit place. These seem like pretty important places to be backing this site. Let's see. Let's go to about. Where's the questions place that they were just at? She was just at. FAQ. What's in the FAQ? What is BetterHelp? Who will be helping me? Who are the therapists? How are the therapists verified? Is BetterHelp right for me? How does it cost? I signed up. How long until I mess with therapist? How do I communicate with therapist? How does messaging work? How do I set it? Can I go back to read the therapist messages? How can I use BetterHelp? Is BetterHelp every Saturday? How do I can I be reimbursed by my insurance? Submit claims to Medicare, but insurance is yeah, that's not a surprise. Okay. Was there a little BetterHelp? How can I be sure it's effective form of therapy? How is my privacy protected? It's right here. We take your privacy and confidentiality very seriously. We have built state-of-the-art technology, operations, and infrastructure with the goal of protecting your privacy and safeguarding your information you provide. It is important for us to that you know exactly how your privacy and confidentiality is treated. For more information, see our privacy policy. However, there are some things that might be helpful for you to know. Everything you tell your therapist is confidential. We don't cooperate or work with insurance companies, so nothing needs to be shared, reported, or filed with them. You can always click the shred button next to each message that you have sent so that it will no longer show in your account. All the messages between you and your therapist are secured and encrypted by banking-grade 256 encryption. Our servers are distributed across multiple Tier 4 data centers for optimal security and protection. Our browsing encryption system, SSL, follows modern best practices. Our database is encrypted and scrambled so they essentially become useless in the unlikely event that they are stolen or inappropriately used. If you wish for any of your information or records to be released to a third party, please let your therapist know. Your therapist will send your authorization form that you will need to fill and sign for your information to be released. It says it on the same page.
It's not clear then if the services rendered through BetterHelp are technically considered therapy. It raises a slew of additional, very concerning questions. Who protects the client? Does client privilege apply? Who protects the therapist? Does BetterHelp have the right to actually sell client information?
It says it right there. How is my privacy protected? When you sign up, we do not ask for your full information or contact information. You may pick a nickname which will identify you in the system. You decide whether you decide to start using the therapy process. We will ask you for your contact information for emergency situations. This is kept safe in the system so it can be used if your therapist believes that you or someone else may be in danger. Your therapist may request additional specific information about you as required by their licensing board guidelines. This information is kept strictly confidential and protected by our secure system and patient data protection laws. They say right there that they follow it. This video is from 2020, and the page looks identical to the way it looks in her video. Even so, here, let's go to... Where was it? Privacy policy. Your privacy is extremely important to us, and we're constantly putting a great deal of thought, effort, tools, resources, and procedures in place in order to protect and safeguard your privacy. This document is our privacy policy, and it contains details on information collection, data use, to let us operate a platform effectively and let you use the platform, including counselor services. We collect, use, and store information described below. We also disclose certain information to third parties as described further below. The information we collect is received directly or indirectly from you and generated in the course of your use of the platform. The data we collect is not used for marketing or any other purposes except for specified in this privacy policy. Visitor data. BetterHelp collects, uses, and stores data regarding user visits to its website and use of the BetterHelp application visitor data, including particular pages visited or viewed by the user, the amount of time the user spent on that website or application. Okay, so they use like like almost every app now, almost every big app anyway, like uses like they sell like your data from your use of other apps and stuff on your phone. It's kind of scummy. 2020 is your year. I know. Well, if I wasn't for everything I was dealing with last year, yeah, it probably could have been. This year should have been my year, but, divorce tends to make things not your year. 2022 is going to also not be my year. Because I'm going to probably end up, drunk most of the time or something. I'm kidding. Anyway, so basically every website out there. Yeah, no. So far, all this is saying is the data that they transact with, that they'll sell if anything. It's the same old data. It's not your personal data from your actual sessions. Visitor data. BetterHelp collects and uses stores data regarding their user visits to the site and use of the BetterHelp application. Visitor data, including I think it's the one we just read. Onboarding data, in addition to the questionnaire responses provided by users, including the counselors in the process, initial registration. BetterHelp collects, uses, and stores certain additional data from users during the onboarding process. That's when you sign up, basically. The data includes pages viewed by the user, whether your user clicks or gets started link, completing the questionnaire, or whether the user responds to any of the questionnaire prompts. Account registration. Okay, so purposes for which information is used. We may use information we collect for one or more of the following purposes. This is the only thing that really matters, because we know that all this different information is being collected. How is it dispersed? To contact you, to provide you information, communication with you, delivery of services to you, to create your account on a platform and let you log into the platform, to manage your account, provide you with customer support, and ensure you're receiving quality service. For billing and transaction, to match users with counselors, to provide support, personalization, and develop our platform and customer service. Administration, improvement, services. Customization and marketing, to advertise and market the platform, and counselor services to potential users and counselors. So I'm guessing that means like they might use like your testimony or something like that, maybe. To personalize the website experience and to deliver content and product and service offerings relevant to individual interests, including targeted offers and ads through our websites and third-party sites. So I think that seems more like it's about target advertising people like you in your area or whatever. It's like do people who put out videos on BetterHelp even read everything on the website? I don't think so. She said it doesn't say anywhere on the website any of this. She's like, I didn't want to use it because I couldn't find anything about your privacy. But there's a whole page about your privacy that specifically lays all that information out. Other uses with consent. Any other purpose with your consent. Purposes for which the information is disclosed to third parties. Information about you may be disclosed to third parties for one or more of the following purposes. For business purposes. So I guess that's like... this whole drama was so overblown. Yeah, no, it was. It was massively overblown. And I spent like the first 2 hours almost watching the memology videos about it, and I have a headache. Because there was so much like speculation and spin in those. And a lot of it was like just YouTube comments and tweets. Let's see. For business purposes, only as necessary for facility and counselor services. We may share a user's information with a counselor and a counselor's information with a user. We may also share your information with vendors and service providers, including our data hosting and data storage partners, analytics, vendors, and providing technology services, support, payment processing, and data security. We may also share information with personal advisors, such as auditors, law firms, and accounting firms. Okay, that just makes sense. You might even have to do that with the regular With regular stuff, I'm not quite sure to verify how many clients you actually had and all that to prevent any issues of that. I'm not sure, however, that this kind of thing is unfortunately does have to be written fairly vaguely, because like imagine if they were trying to write down like all the exceptions to this. Like, well, what we mean by this is that like we have to sometimes like release how much information like about how many of our clients are real people, like information about how many of them are real, and then we got to we got to keep track of this and that and that and that. Otherwise, we get audited at the end of the year. There's different reasons why some of this stuff has to be kind of vague for the sake of keeping it concise enough that people actually read it. In the context of a transaction, we may share your information in a connection with an asset, sale, merger, bankruptcy, or other transaction. And unfortunately, it's not telling you what of all this data here will actually be potentially need to be used. Note that if you make information publicly available on the platform, anyone may see and use such information. Okay, so they're talking about specific data, though. Yeah. And so far, there's never been anything I'm aware of people actually having their information leaked. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to these questions, and until I know the answers, I personally am not comfortable with rendering any services through BetterHelp. Without being crystal clear about the answers to these questions, BetterHelp runs the risk of looking like they're offering professional therapy services when it's possible that they might be offering lay counseling services. And if it's possible that BetterHelp isn't actually offering professional therapy services through its platform, then the general public might be misled to believe that all of their information is protected, client privilege is in place, etc., when it's not. And so I would really want to know the answers to all of these concerns before I feel comfortable putting my stamp of approval on BetterHelp service.
But you could just ask the employee that you were talking to in your emails. She just had to ask. She was in contact with them via email. She could have asked for that information. What?
I'll be honest, when I first applied to be a BetterHelp therapist, I wasn't actually that hopeful, but my main concern was actually that the pay would be really poor, which is also true about BetterHelp. But it turns out there's some much bigger concerns that are unaddressed. I haven't even covered concerns like poor pay, but a quick glance on Glassdoor can answer some of those concerns for you really quickly. In my array of Googling, I did find some very interesting subreddit threads. Now, of course, they simply reflect the opinions of those writing in the forum, but they are quite illuminating. I'll link to those threads below. To make matters even more complicated, there is some research suggesting that BetterHelp services are effective at improving mental health outcomes. I absolutely believe that those outcomes are real, so I don't want to negate any very real positive experiences that clients and maybe therapists are having through BetterHelp. So I'm not here to question whether BetterHelp is actually effective at creating positive change for clients. What I am concerned about is some of the ethical and legal concerns that haven't been clarified through the BetterHelp website, and as far as I'm concerned, pretty much anywhere that I can find on the internet. I definitely encourage you to contact your
Except on their own website.
liability insurance and ask them if the BetterHelp services are covered under your liability insurance, and you could potentially consult with a lawyer as well, just to get all your bases covered. If you have been a provider with BetterHelp, I am really curious to hear about what your experience.
So before we start this video, this is
How much you want to bet she got fat shamed by a therapist?
not the video. This video hasn't started yet. I just wanted to let you guys know, quick trigger warning for you guys. So we are talking about BetterHelp, but while talking about that, in this video, it definitely delves down into things like suicide, mental health, depression, anxiety, PTSD, a lot of, it doesn't get too detailed, but we do talk about it quite a bit in this video. And I just want to tell anyone who maybe that would trigger, like, sit this one out. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to hear about this one, because I don't want to make this a dangerous place for you. So as long as you're aware of that and you know yourself, and if you ever feel uncomfortable, like click out, like my watch, I don't care about my watch, it's fine. Just try and remember that your mental health is more important than watching a YouTube video. So if you feel any type of way, click off. I completely understand. But I wanted to put that before this video started, just so you guys are aware. And yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in like 2 seconds, because I'll be sitting right here. You want me to do the snap thing? Should we do the, oh, I didn't do the snap thing at the beginning though, so that won't work for you. I'm concerned. So we're gonna jump right into today's topic, which is, I have a pen. This is not a get ready with me. This is a serious, you and me, let's chat. Because I have some issues. So today I want to talk to you guys about BetterHelp. No, this is not sponsored. I'm actually
she has some issues.
Stuff that's been going on with BetterHelp. I know there's been quite a few videos talking about BetterHelp and what it is and kind of the scams behind it. And I know this might not be super new, but for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Hannah. I am a social work major in college right now. I'm going to school to be a social worker one day. That is my end game. But I actually currently, right now, am learning a lot about the counseling game and kind of what's going on with counseling and stuff like that. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about BetterHelp because For those of you that maybe haven't heard about what's going on, I just know that a lot of people are not getting the actual help they need right now. And I feel like there are a lot of YouTubers promoting this. And I want to talk to you guys, break down like the pros and cons of BetterHelp, the pros and cons of real therapy, and then talking about all of the other different problems that have kind of arisen with this program. Okay, let's just do this, I guess. Let's start out with the pros and cons of BetterHelp, because I feel like that is the one, this has been everywhere. I've seen every single YouTuber talk about it. I've seen multiple people who are on the app and work with people. I even have a professor right now who works for BetterHelp and he's like his LSW and he's a licensed clinical social work. And so he is on the app right now helping people. That's like a spare job he does for part-time. So this is a little tricky because I know quite a bit about the app. So the pros that BetterHelp kind of sells you on is that it is more inexpensive than actual therapy, like face-to-face therapy. Have access to it anytime. Like I guess the big plan that people sign up for is you get unlimited access, like 4 times a week you get a therapy session. That's like the plan or something. So you get a lot of access to a therapist, and when you compare that, that's a lot cheaper than what you get in a face-to-face session. The other thing that is not really marketed as a benefit, but that I actually do see as a benefit is the fact that it is allowing people who maybe would never feel comfortable to go and sit with a therapist and talk about their problems face-to-face because maybe they're too ashamed, there's a stigma surrounding them. For those people, this is great for them because instead of having to go into
Bingo! People with anxiety don't want to go talk to a therapist about anxiety because they have to go deal with their anxiety just to talk to the guy, because they have to go sit in an office with the person feeling anxious. This person, I was not expecting that so far their take is right.
To an office and talk and be uncomfortable, and that's not something they're ever going to do.
This is a 35-minute video. No, screw that. We were like 3 or 4 minutes into that video, and we only just started talking about the app, and it's 35 minutes long.
I think it can't get any worse, guys. It's getting way worse for Travis Scott because of the poor moves that he is making and how his collaboration with BetterHelp has actually been low-key a scam, and people shouldn't be accepting this help because it's actually worse for the people who are trying to accept the help, and better for Travis Scott, Live Nation, and just the team in general. Hey guys, it's Rob Marley. Hope you guys are doing well today. Back at it again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button for daily and
This is the main reason I'm researching this right now, by the way, because Travis Scott has an incident at his concert. Still don't know how I feel about his responsibility or his culpability, his liability at all, and all this. No idea. It's all a big mess, right? But people are like going and like they're like associating him with BetterHelp, and then they're like, oh well, what a shock! Travis Scott's responsible for this tragedy that happened, and then he partners with a scam company that has an insanely good Better Business Bureau rating. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And the only scam on their record is the so-called scamming that was happening in 2018 because of YouTubers. X'd it out.
consistent content, daily and consistent, and head over to my Instagram, my TikTok, and let's get straight into this quick fire video, because Travis Scott, I don't know what his team are trying to do, but people are going to read between the lines. First and foremost, how did we go to a tragic event where, you know, more than 8 people at this point have passed away to a brand partnership where he's part?
More than 8 people have passed away? I thought the count stopped at 8.
Up with some kind of therapy company to give 1 month free therapy. 1 month free therapy is nothing, number one. Number two, it's not some kind of partnership situation where you're partnering up with something, and that's not how it should be seen, but of course it's going to be seen like that. Now, it's been called out as a major scam, and the reason why is this. What they failed to mention is BetterHelp. By, you know, accepting their help and whatever, this particular company sells, you know, your data. So a company selling your data, you know, roughly called data mining, there's a lot of money in that. That is where the money lies, and why people have these companies.
So he's talking about what we just talked about. But listen to what he just said.
Selling your data, you know, roughly called data mining, there's a lot of money in that. That is where the money lies, and why people have these companies. The therapists themselves on these apps and on these, you know, companies and whatever, working with BetterHelp, they don't make a lot of money. However, if you are able to partner up with them to a point where you can promote them and push them.
He just acknowledged that, like, this is a common thing that companies do. Because every company does this. If you use Google Chrome as a browser, your data is being sold by Google. Like, they crowdsource that kind of information. They track people all over the place. You're being selective. to justify a stance
get
you
belongs
have.
that, you know, you can get their data, get their location and everything and where they live. You can make a lot of money. There's a lot of money in selling data, guys. And it's not data because they want to track you for any kind of, you know, frivolous or, you know, weird, invasive reason. They want to track you, you know, where you live, where you're going, what you scroll and like on Twitter or online in general, what you Google in a search engine, so that they can find the right ads to be tailored to you. And that in itself, there's a lot of money in that. People want to buy your data because they want to put the right ads to you. It's all about money, 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 money. There's a lot of money in that. Do you understand? There's a therapist on TikTok, I want to put this in the bio. He was being offered $80,000 a month by offering to, you know, help promote. So there's a lot of money. What they failed to mention is BetterHelp sells their data to Facebook, and if they accept this, any refunds or paid funeral costs, and accepting of that as well, then it waives their ability to sue Travis and Live Nation. That is the gag. If you accept these funeral cost payments, if you accept, you know, this kind of promotional 1 month or whatever, any kind of help from Travis or his people, don't accept that help. Don't accept that.
Okay. Okay, so this isn't really about BetterHelp. This is about Travis Scott's people trying to skirt him getting sued.
Help, don't accept that help, don't accept that help, understand? If I was part of that concert, God forbid I'm not, and I was injured in any way, capacity, shape or form, what I would do is this. I would not or never accept any help from Travis Scott or the concert, you know, individual people in the industry, because if you are accepting that help, there's always going to be something behind it where it can exempt you or nullify or prevent you or diminish your powers. And as somebody who has been damaged at a concert, if you are one of those people, you know, it's not about the people that have just died. Do you understand? It's also about the victims, not just those who have passed away, but those who are injured in any capacity, whether it be severe injuries or whether it be minor injuries. You are injured from a concert and there are liabilities and damages, and you can sue for them. And by accepting those payments, it prevents that from happening, and therefore Travis Scott and his team can prevent paying up billions and millions to lawsuits by doing stuff like this. It's very sneaky. It's a very sneaky, underhanded.
I don't know why he clickbaited like that. It's BetterHelp.
And of course, I'm glad that people are really bringing this up and talking about it. There is a therapist on TikTok who has spoken about it as well. And his TikTok video, guys, it's very interesting because it comes from somebody who has had that experience from this company to contact them.
And possibly Travis Scott are profiting off the horrific
Oh my word.
trauma at the Astroworld Music Festival, where 8 people were killed and hundreds were injured. Let me explain. I agree that kids were put at extreme risk so that corporate interests and streaming platforms could make more money with no regard to their well-being, and that pumping them into BetterHelp just confirms everything is for sale. And it turns out that BetterHelp jumped at the business opportunity to offer 1 month of free therapy services to anyone that has been affected by the festival events. Just as a reminder, BetterHelp clearly states in their privacy policy that they share your personal and private mental health info with third-party advertisers for marketing and business purposes.
That is not what the information just said. We just looked at it. They're connecting dots that don't go together.
You can check out my pinned TikTok videos for deep dives into exactly what they're doing. So all the kids that sign up for the free 1 month should be aware that their data is being mined.
There was a lot.
No one said anything. Their privacy policy information did not say anything about sharing your mental health information. That dude just said that they're releasing your session information, essentially.
Services to anyone that has been affected by the festival events. Just as a reminder, BetterHelp clearly states in their privacy policy that they share your personal and private mental health info with third-party advertisers.
No, they didn't say anything about mental health information being shared with advertisers. They didn't specify that. This is another one of those situations where everybody just reads into every little freaking thing they see. Like, oh, the TOS was written vaguely, but I can interpret it however I want, so I know exactly what they're doing. No. I'm so sick of it. I'm tired. I have a headache. I'm sorry. I'm like getting really overly agitated with this douchebag, but that is not what it says. This is just some unhinged rant that the dude's going on, kind of like mine. I'm going to go back to watching this now.
For marketing and business purposes. You can check out my pinned TikTok videos for deep dives into exactly what they're doing. So all the kids that sign up for the free 1 month should be aware that their data is being mined.
There was a lot of money in data mining. There's a lot of money.
Data mining has more to do with like what you browse and all that, what you search for. They would be in violation of a bunch of different stuff if they were releasing mental health session information. If they were just like advertising to you like a bunch of like bipolar branded t-shirts and stuff like that. Okay, cool. I get it. If you sign up for BetterHelp and you start getting advertisements for like shirts that say I'm bipolar or I've got multiple personalities and so do my other personalities or something like. Then you have an argument, right? But there's no history, there's no record of them selling your session data, your personal mental health records. There's no information about that. That's straight up misinformation. If they were doing that, you know what would be happening? There would be articles left and right about how they were selling private information. That's not data mining. That's straight up like, that's not just data mining. That goes way beyond data mining.
Money in this. There's a lot of money in selling your data to people. And of course, we've all sold our data to some capacity. We all wear Fitbits. We all, have a phone. We're all all have accounts and whatever.
I'm going to even leave the comment. The privacy policy is written like any other company to be vague, to not I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. It's not even worth my time. It's not even worth my time.
And whenever you go to a website, there's always that kind of cookies.
I just want to play Call of Duty.
Reject. Most people accept. Do you know what I mean?
Travis Scott could be making big bucks from all the referrals that he sends over to BetterHelp. How do I know this? Because back in 2019, BetterHelp was trying to partner with me as well, and they were waving a ton of money in front of me. I run therapydone.com, which is a progressive and inclusive therapist directory that matches therapy seekers with therapists. It's free to use, and it's free for therapists to create profiles.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! So this guy runs a free version of BetterHelp. Is that what he just said? So he's running a competitor to BetterHelp?
In 2019, BetterHelp was trying to partner with me as well, and they were waving a ton of money in front of me. I run therapydone.com, which is a progressive and inclusive therapist directory that matches therapy seekers with therapists. It's free to use, and it's free for therapists to create profiles. Back on March 12th of 2019...
So he runs a competitor. He runs a competitor. He runs a competitor to BetterHelp, and they just blatantly shared misinformation about the privacy policy. This guy should be making Eugene Acuni videos.
Jeff Williams, the Senior Director of Business Development at BetterHelp, reached out to me to see if I'd like to partner with BetterHelp. Basically, he was asking me if I would allow BetterHelp to create profiles in TherapyDen so that when people visited TherapyDen to find a counselor, they would be directed to BetterHelp to sign up for their services. Jeff told me that if I agreed to the partnership, then they would pay me $300 per referral. So every time someone visited TherapyDen and then entered their credit card info into BetterHelp, I would get $300 in my pocket. I said no. He said, I respect your decision, but would you please reconsider because we're offering to pay you a ton of money. He went on to tell me how a therapist directory of similar size is getting paid out by BetterHelp at about $80,000 a month, basically presenting me with the decision to potentially get $80,000 a month in exchange for sending them referrals and allowing client data to be sold to third parties while paying BetterHelp therapists absolute shit. I declined. So my question for Travis Scott, are you being presented with a similar deal? Are you getting a kickback for everyone who signs up using your Astroworld promo code? I really fucking hope not. Would love to hear more about the details about this partnership.
So, come on now, guys. Let's be real for a minute. Let's be real. There's a lot of money in this, and it's very dangerous. And I'm glad that he's been exposed, his team and BetterHelp, all of them are being exposed. And in all shortness, well, you would think that this particular BetterHelp would have been great PR for them. In actual fact, it's hit them right back, and it's not good PR at all. At all. These families should not accept a cent from Travis or any free therapy. Instead, they need to take it directly to a class action lawsuit so that they can get compensated without anything waived in fine.
I agree with that. If they actually do, I haven't seen anything about it, and he hasn't shown anything on screen, so I don't know where he's getting this information from. If they really are not allowed to sue after getting this therapy, and by the way, from what he's saying, he's talking about, it sounds like he's talking about anybody at the concert, because anybody at the concert is available to get that therapy. So, if my understanding of this is correct, the people that were injured, the family members that were of the people that were killed, this probably doesn't void their claims to his liability and all that, right? It does just void claims of liability against people that were just there and traumatized by finding out it happened, because supposedly this is available to anyone that went to the concert. Some dude that was across the way, right, and was nowhere near where everything happened, but then heard about it after and was traumatized or feels like sick or whatever thinking about it. That dude might want to get therapy, but there's nothing for him to sue over, right? So he doesn't need that. So we don't know the details, right? We don't know that a family member of a deceased person from this event is getting that same deal. I have no idea where this deal information is coming from.
Print. This man needs to be prosecuted, not rebranded. I think this particular tweet from this person is very good. This is the thing, because, you know, accepting funeral expenses, a lot of people may not have.
However, like I said, I do agree that anyone that has a legitimate claim to something like somebody that was party to someone that was seriously injured or anything like that, sure, they definitely shouldn't sign so that they have a legal recourse.
Have the money to afford a funeral, and then they want to accept it's expensive. And of course, I can't speak for funeral costs, but when it comes to better health, specifically, that's what I'm talking about. It's just very interesting. And you got to just read between the fine print when it comes to anything, when it comes to contracts or whatever. I guarantee you will have Travis Scott's lawyers who probably, you know, when they want you to sign all of this, there's going to be a small fine print.
He keeps saying you got to read between the fine print, but he's doing a really bad job of reading reading the really vague wording.
Of, you know, waiving your rights to sue. These things, most likely the lawyers are going to know, because Travis Scott's lawyers know, Drake's lawyers know that loads of lawsuits are coming their way, therefore they're going to try and do anything they can to prevent that from taking place. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is what's going on. But the fact that you're partnering up with this company that is selling your data, BetterHelp is known for that. Again, people are not pleased. You are under major scrutiny right now, Travis Scott. I don't know what his crisis PR team are doing, but anything you do is going to be not scrutinized, it's going to be hyper scrutinized. So you have to move properly. And you have to move swiftly with how you're moving stuff. You should be with the victims. You should be in the hospitals. That's not even a week, and I haven't seen any of that. This is what you should be doing. This is what Kylie should be doing. They're all just kind of, you know, writing a statement and being quiet. There needs to be a lot of action because a lot of people have passed away and over 300 people have been injured. Do you understand? There's not enough action when it comes to that. It's
Oh, he's right. There was a third, a ninth one. Oh, wait, but it just happened. It just happened today. He said over 9 people died, but the 9th person they hadn't announced it died until today. He put this video out yesterday afternoon. So he's right retroactively.
We want to show you the 8 people who died.
Let's see here. How many injured? That's what I was trying to find. Still not seeing it. And by the way, I'm not trying to like diminish how many people died. It's disgusting that a concert had that many people die. Like I just found out the other day that apparently there was 51 people that died at a concert in 1991 in Russia. Okay, it says 25 people were taken to hospital. Okay, I can't find anything about how many people were injured. At least 25 people were transported to the hospital. And of those, 13 remain hospitalized. All right, still doesn't look anywhere near 300. I'm not seeing anything about 300. I'm not sure where he got that from.
It seems everybody's just complaining. What do you want? Do you want the head of Travis Scott on a stick? And is it a witch hunt? No, it's not. Do you understand? If it was anybody else and it was a genuine accident, I wouldn't be going this hard. But this is a man who has wanted crowds to beat up somebody who thought he was sitting a shoot. This is a man who's randomly screaming at people who work with him to get them off the stage. This is a man who encourages rage, encourages all this crap. There's a lot of interviews where he's seen he wants to see a lot of crazy stuff, and he's been fined, he's been arrested, he's been charged for previous crowd raging many a times. Do you understand? This man wants to do.
I'll watch the Tro video later. You know what?
Hello,
I think we're just.
And welcome to another episode.
I definitely need to watch that.
Me, Pocky.
Maybe that.
Good morning, YouTubers. I hope you're having a wonderful day.
Legal analysis video.
So.
Julian says that BetterHelp.com is a reliable online platform to.
What they're saying is,
this video is not meant to accuse anyone of anything, but to present the facts. I want you to form your own opinions, as I will do my best to stay unbiased and neutral. But scam. Shane Dawson, Katie Morton, Elon Madas. Some of these are bombshells. Most of this is unbelievable and too ironic. If you don't know what BetterHelp is, it's an online portal that provides direct to consumer access to behavioral health services. The online counseling and therapy services are provided through web-based interaction as well as phone text communication. It says found Amy Brognier and Elon Madas until just recently when Shane Dawson started a series trying a witch hunt, trying to find sociopaths, trying to figure out if Jake Paul was a sociopath. One of the first things that that stuck out was that there was just something off about the therapist, and whoa, the rabbit hole. So Katie Morton was the therapist that Shane Dawson chose to bring with him. She said a lot of things that really made people angry.
That's his, like, ugh, that feeling. Like,
And made us question, was she a real therapist? So people started researching around. Of course, they were going to. Turns out, yes, she does have a license, and it's for marriage and family therapist. And I'm told she came out with a video where she said,
What Shane wanted me to do was just to walk through what a sociopath is. So I simply went through the diagnostic criteria for antisocial personality disorder as it's listed and described in the DSM.
originally Shane Dawson brought her on because I suppose it was a way for him to put a little bit more authenticity into the series. A real therapist that knows about psychology to explain and pinpoint certain aspects of Jake Paul's personality. Give the series a little bit more legitimacy. But it turns out that there was more to the story. So this is an interview with Elon Modest that I discovered when I was digging around on the internet. It's from like 2015 or so. And he says, I'm going to be...
Okay, I feel like all that he just went into, like, talking about Katie Morton, and didn't really come out of that with any information.
Some back and forth to this throughout the video, but he says in this specific part, we made a really, really basic, very basic experience. Basically a landing page and one therapist and a very simple way of communicating. What we wanted to see is, are people liking it, but liking it in the measurable way, which is not just saying, I like it, but actually swiping a credit card, which for us was important, not just from a business point of view. Think of different business models. We aren't sure about the business model back then, but does this really bring value? This is the ultimate proof that something brings value if someone is willing to pay for that. So we built this pretty much very bare bones. A landing page? Yes, a landing page. And you're also experienced in buying online ads from your previous business. So you started buying ads, sending them over to the landing page, seeing if people were actually paid by the credit card. If they paid by credit card, what happened? So they would start interacting with one therapist that we had. Who do you think that therapist was? Well, I did a little bit more digging. It turns out BetterHelp was founded in 2013. Pay attention to these dates. The first known plug for BetterHelp was by, you guessed it, Katie Morton, September 23rd, 2013. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. But back then, it was called tryonlinetherapy.com. I don't know if this has hit you yet, but have you realized that Shane Dawson picks a therapist to come on board to find out if Jake Paul is a sociopath? He doesn't say anything about that she was possibly one of the founding members of BetterHelp. So you tell...
Why would he say she was possibly one of the founding members? Didn't the information he just read about the guy?
Over to the landing page, seeing if people were actually paid by...
He says right there! He says it right there, Repzilla! And you're experienced in buying online ads from your previous business. So you started buying ads and sending them over to the landing page. He says it right there! They were buying ads right off the bat! Are you kidding me, Rep? How do you make the leap from the fact that she had... How do you make the leap? How do you make the leap from she did an ad read when they were buying ads to that she was potentially, there's no evidence for it whatsoever besides the coincidence in dates, but potentially could have been the therapist that they were working.
You guessed it.
Come on!
Morton, September 23rd, 2013. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. But back then, it was called tryonlinetherapy.com. I don't know if this has hit you yet, but have you realized that Shane Dawson picks a therapist to come on board to find out if...
I mean, am I crazy? Does that seem like a leap in logic to you? Like, I feel like that's just a massive leap. I want to like rep that. Jeez. I mean, granted, this is also 2018, right? This is an old thing. So this is not new. This is not new. This isn't something like go tweeting like, hey, Repzilla, can you justify that? No, that's not something we would do. This is an old thing, but it's like, come on, dude.
If Jake Paul is a sociopath. He doesn't say anything about that she was possibly one of the founding members of BetterHelp. So you tell me, was the therapist that Shane Dawson decided to pick that just so happened to be one of the very first with BetterHelp, was that just an ironic coincidence? I think not. This is an art. Was the therapist that Shane Dawson decided to pick that just so happened to be one of the very first with BetterHelp, was that just an ironic coincidence? I think not.
It couldn't possibly have to do with the fact that, as some of those other videos we've watched, like the Memology ones, she was all over the place talking to people about mental health. Jacksepticeye for one, just to name one. She was working with a ton of people. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. This is ridiculous.
This is an article from Rainstorms in July. I'll also put it in the description below, and you need to read this. I found from a reference on her author page on a publishing house she links on her website. Why is where she got her degree from, not right there in her bio on her official website. The official website, katiemorton.com, seems to be down right now. Probably some maintenance, or probably conspiracy. She also doesn't appear to have been a licensed practitioner for more than a few years, since searching on her site's blog pulls up her taking the first of her license exams in 2014. Yet she's a big mental health figure on YouTube, and I cannot find where she is practicing at or how to acquire her professional services. And as you can see, this is her license, and it was in 2014. This says that a lot of people are pushing BetterHelp on YouTube, and ads have even popped up on Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, and I myself, I've seen these advertisements everywhere. And we're gonna get more into why that is, and it probably's got a lot to do with Rogue Rocket, Magic Boost, Influencer Logic, and a lot of other third-party companies that might even be taking your private information. Her referral link contains Influence Logic, which many of the other YouTubers also have in there, Rogue Rocket being the other one seen in many. What is Influence Logic? See for yourself. So this is high integrity, high scale advertising. It's literally if you remembered Alan Modis, he's very, very equipped with advertising, and Magic Boost was his original advertising company that failed. And Influencer Logic is the same. And as you can see, we got BetterHelp and we have Teledot. I want you to remember that name, Teledot.
And
so the
Uggs.
privacy policy of Influencer Logic.
Let's ignore that the massive company Uggs is on there.
It says, what personal information do we collect from the people that visit our blog, website, or app? It says, when ordering or registering on our site as appropriate, you may be asked to enter your name, email address, and other details to help you with your experience. When do they collect? Information is registered on our site and subscribe to a newsletter. Use.
I need to not do this anymore tonight. I need to get off of here. I'm gonna go stream Call of Duty or something on Twitch. My brain hurts from the stupidity of a lot of this. I'm gonna go switch over to Twitch. I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff together and then probably try and sit down with Chris Boutte and have a little conversation with him about BetterHelp. Because I feel like a lot of this stuff is just so spun out of control, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Twitch. Let's go ahead and hop over to Twitch here. Let me get this set up real quick. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to title the Twitch stream. If anybody's here if anybody's still here, what do you think I should title the Twitch stream? YouTube post stream. YouTube after party stream. I'll just call it that. YouTube after party. Winding down. Chilling. Yeah, I'll just do that. That'll work. All right, let me bring up my other OBS. I don't think anybody is actually here. I'm going to go live on Twitch and just play whatever. Why is my camera backwards on there? There we go. That'll work. Alrighty. I will be